I think that it is
oh my God.
using the forest for the trees to talk about whether or not it was a paid,
but that's what Hasan he accused him of being a paid Israeli propagandist. That's what that's obviously what he's.
It was a propaganda trip. Yeah, I don't think that either of you would have been invited to Israel.
Who invited us?
I don't know,
dude. You don't know who invited us. The whole trip started because we were invited by Sev. It was a Palestinian who lives in Israel was the one who spurred the idea. And then we just started to make connections from there. That's also why we met Yishai Fletcher, whose father was murdered in the Kfar Qasim massacre, the Israeli-Palestinian Knesset member. That's why he was one of the interviewees. That's why we met Mustafa Barghouti, you know, a guy who is very radically against Israel. But you think like the government allowed this to happen because it benefits them? So you don't know. Why don't you just ask some questions? It feels like
because I don't completely, like, for one,
you think I'm gonna lie?
Trust everything you have to say.
When have I ever lied to you, Vadim? When have I ever lied to you, provably?
I don't know, but you say some like really crazy things when it comes to Israel. And
you can think I say things that are wrong and you disagree with, or you think I'm losing my way or whatever. When have I ever lied to you? Place. Okay. Apparently Hutch and Vadim are fighting. Interesting.
Well, this is totally...
Was because...
Let's just jump in right here.
To hundreds of thousands of viewers. And Ethan is literally going to be like, I hope your employer... Look at this. Look at this.
Wait, it doesn't travel around?
Yeah, I thought I tried. I guess it used to in like the 60s, unless there's multiple.
Which one's Joe? Let's see. I think it's this guy.
No?
That's Joe?
Doesn't look anything like him.
No, no, it is. Here, let me show you. That's...
What? But what did this person say? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. I can't hear you. Wait. You're muted. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Remember?
Yeah, they're actually talking.
I don't know any of the context here.
Right. Well. Yeah. The context is. Oh, okay. I remember. Hila posted a tattoo that was a Star of David, a blue Star of David.
You want to put it back on your camera and
oh, sorry.
Otherwise, it's just stop streaming. Yeah. You had it a second ago. You had it. There was an option to stop streaming. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so she posted a tattoo that was a Star of David from the, you know, like it was blue, and people like and he just said something to the effect of like I loved watching you for so many years, but you guys have just like lost the plot, go to hell, something like that.
I have a feeling it was a bit worse than that.
Well,
my spidey sense is tingling.
I wish I could find it. Hold on one second.
My spidey sense is tingling here. I feel like there's more to the story than just go to hell.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm sure I can find it if you're patient and I Google it. Ethan Docs Instagram go to hell. Okay, so here we go. All right.
This is Ethan Hasan Destiny drama for sure. 100%.
Unblurred.
Hutch might be more patient than me.
The post that Ethan's responding to?
Oh god, we got an army. We're fighting an army here.
It shows
god damn it.
The entire context. This is 2.5 minutes. This is here we go.
Oh no, there's a guy shooting me. Holy shit, I might be in trouble. Got poison on me. Get over here.
All right, next time I'll have that faster. I'm just kind of like realizing how to do this. So you see this now?
Good.
I will mute my microphone, but do you see this?
Ethan pulls up haters Instagram live on air and starts looking through his family friends pictures.
It's gotta hate.
Wait, where'd it go?
Yeah. I'm just muting my mic.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't doxing though, was it? Because the guy literally used his real name and linked to socials and shit. But okay. People called it doxing.
Wait, unmute the video. I can't. Oh, there it is.
He said, man, I'm being obsessed with you guys when you only had 15K subs. Glad that's behind me. Enjoy hell. This guy's for real. Joe Coop. Look this guy up. Enjoy hell. He said, enjoy hell.
Yeah, no, I mean, they think I'm actually the devil.
I feel like this one's real. We caught you, Joe.
And this is because of a matching swastika adjacent tattoos, because it was a Star of David. Nice.
But what is the thread that they're like? The thread itself is also super relevant, right?
Strong entry. Not exactly the Esteban, but
Like that person was responding to something. He left a reply on a post.
Yeah, I told you he left a reply on Hila posted a picture of her tattoo.
Oh, that's what he was responding to?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
It's a Star of David tattoo.
But it's blue.
And it was blue. So here we go.
You don't think enjoy hell is kind of extreme? Why would she go to? Why would Hila go to hell?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you have a girlfriend, wife, or
He is obviously.
Wait, switch to stop the streaming and then put it back on your camera.
Man, Ethan is like Israel. He's doing a disproportionate strike as a means of deterrence, but everyone only sees the response and then they just think he's like blasting people for no reason. It's funny.
Okay. Why don't I just play it and then we can talk about it?
Okay. I mean, I think I get the gist of it, but if there's more context, then
well, I mean, you should see like what happens here. This like is pretty involved. I'm gonna mute myself and like this is there's no context in under which this is okay.
Well, I mean, that seems a bit extreme.
But halfway there.
He's not. Oh yeah.
Yes,
I
it's a real
blocked
guy.
him. He's not showing up for me.
So this is Joe Coop. He left a message on Hila's Stardew.
So this guy is clearly
said-
like linked everything together. He's using the same name for this reply and for his Instagram. Like this guy has made himself very visible. Stupid.
is behind me. Enjoy hell. Joe Coop said. I'll start David. Here he is. If anyone, let's see if I know, can identify him at all.
Oh, that weenie truck he's in front of. That's in Dearborn.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Dearborn owns the Oscar Mayer truck?
I mean, that seems kind of unhinged to respond to
I mean, it used to in like the 60s, unless there's multiple.
Which one's Joe? Let's see. I think it's this guy.
Okay, yeah, I get the gist of it. I can see what he's doing.
No, it is.
That seems kind of unhinged to respond to her posting a Star of David and then say enjoy hell.
Dude, there's more to it. Like
It was a blue Star of David.
First of all, they doxed his address right there. I mean, not his address, but his general area by like
pulling up his public Instagram account.
That he's in Dearborn, but continue. Let's just like let it play, okay? It's hard for me to unmute the mic.
It is. Here, let me show you. That's him.
Oh.
That's him right there. Trust me, when I see an anti-Semite, I know I can spot him.
Wow. Spot him from the crowd.
That's him. So I don't know if you guys all know that, but your friend Joe here actually is a giant racist piece of shit. And like he likes to tell Jewish people they're going to hell on Instagram on his public profile. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but certainly anyone who would employ him, or probably even his parents, would be pretty disappointed to see that. Although who knows? Here's his mom. I'm not gonna clip that for her.
Oh dear.
No, you know what? Fuck him. This is what you. Here's your mom. I wonder if she knows what you do on social media.
This is actually, I wouldn't defend this from Ethan. This is kind of insane. Like trying to tell, because he's like clearly winking at people going after his family and his job and shit like that. Like I don't like that. That is quite.
On your free time. You love your mama. Good thing she's not Jewish, eh, Joe? I love it. I love it. So anyway, best.
I'll stop it there. There's probably more crazy shit. But what the f are you talking about, man? Like you
Hold up.
Oh, he's going to pop off. Vadim's going to pop off.
That person
Vadim's spitting.
responded to a post where she posted a Star of David.
Yeah.
And
The double standard is that this Vadim guy associates with people who do this shit all the time, but worse. Like, really, we're above going after people's jobs and their social medias and linking shit like that, like in Stark posting. Right now, we're above it, like over all. Yeah, okay.
Responds with calling it a no. The person above him called it a swash. He responds with enjoy hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not see how
I think
that
that's
could be
like
construed as
dickhead thing.
anti-Semitic?
It's not though. I mean, it's not.
Could it potentially be? I mean, you don't know this person. Could it potentially be?
Any negative thing that anyone says to, like, if you just like so much as like look at Ethan wrong, he'll call you anti-Semitic.
Well, this was a comment on a Star of David tattoo. Okay.
He calls like everybody anti-Semitic, and even if that's the case, dude, give me a break. Would you even if this, let's say this guy was anti-Semitic, okay? Like, there's no way to know he was, but like, just like on this like sort of evidence, immediately saying that he hates Jews, talking about how this person's parents should be like notified and maybe he should lose his job. That's what happens with these people. People like when he calls people out like this, like for instance, like he was recently feuding with Taylor Lorenz over some like really like ridiculous shit, and she was not feuding with him. You're not
going to bat for her, are you? You want to dive into the context about that? Like pull up I
don't want to.
Well, if you did, there's some interesting context there.
In terms of Ethan or what?
Yeah, she was like talking shit about this guy. Like he posted a whole Instagram about like the reasoning for why he was upset. So like, let me just ask you, if somebody posted underneath, like let's say a black American posted like image of like an outfit that is like native to their home country in Africa or something like that, and then somebody underneath that post said "enjoy hell." That's kind of
is much different. That is much different. Like this is similar to the Iron Cross, right? That's been associated with like. At this point, it's like a Nazi.
This is such an easy layup towards Ethan. Like Ethan is being very disproportionate in this context. Don't say this watch because like the Iron Cross. No.
Whistle, right? And there are a lot of people who genuinely,
he's throwing it so hard.
Like,
no way.
Religious sect or whatever you want to call it that the Iron Cross corresponds to. There are people who,
I'm going to chat.
Look at that
I'm going to go and chat.
The Iron Cross and kind of like.
I'm going in. I'm firing in the chat.
They like it for what it means to them, but most people would not get an Iron Cross tattoo because they realize that it signifies something. And the fact that she got it, she didn't even get the just the Star of David. She got it blue, which is obviously kind of like it's a reference to Israel,
the genocidal apartheid state.
So you think do you think this means that she, like, for example, like supports genocide?
I think that it was just like a you. And
do you get that though? I mean, I get it.
Zero-sum game.
That makes
Zero-sum game.
If I had people going after me the way that they were going after her, I mean, I had at one point an enormous platform on the internet, and that is somewhat diminished in recent years. But so like, I know what it's like to get a lot of negative attention on the internet, but she was experiencing probably 20 times what I experienced at my peak. So I can understand feeling like you. That's like this is.
But the thing is that Hila Klein absolutely is like spreading.
No. Can you answer that though? Can you answer that though? Wait, can you answer that though?
Like what?
I want you to answer that. Can you understand that impulse to be like you when you're getting
the impulse to say you, but to like drag them up on screen and then like start like trying.
No, I mean getting the tattoo. Getting the tattoo.
This sort of thing all the time. He overreacts. He's like just. I mean, I'm so.
Every creator kind of does that, right? Like most
to this extent. I literally have never seen.
You've never seen Hasan pull up into people's individual accounts on stream and react to them on Twitter.
You've never seen for Bada Panada?
He does it every day,
bro.
He does it every day.
Hang on, I'm gonna give this to.
Take a look at this, okay? This is actually like really interesting to me, and this is very indicative of the shit that I'm getting at here.
I'm just trying to get you to understand why Ethan and his wife had this reaction. Because they were confronted with
and it's not
trauma.
Their reactions, it doesn't justify bullying people, trying to like he's been successful at like getting people like just to like actually like no longer be like content creators. And here, hold on a second. I wish next time we talk,
I think he's reacting to a particularly vicious element.
Okay, hold on a second.
And I think if you were in his position, you would probably react similarly. I think you would
never. Are you kidding, man? Like you were just talking about like having a considerable audience and whatnot. I have, it's been a while since I've uploaded, but at the height of my popularity, I was pretty popular when I was doing Creationist Cat before I was even like,
You went after content creators. You went after Tim Pool for the things that he said, right? Like,
Yeah, and I did it in ways that were like perfectly acceptable. He does it in ways. Here, wait, I'm gonna find this one, and this is very.
I think if you were confronted with the torrent of harassment that they got. Like, I mean, do you agree that it's fully unhinged to accuse Ethan and Hila of like wanting Palestinian children to die? Why can't I get you to just unequivocally say yes, that's unhinged?
Things like that.
Like,
When someone
now you want to
is doing a
contextualize it.
great
This is what I'm saying. You want to contextualize the people that are harassing him, but you don't want to give him any kind of nuance whatsoever for the way that he's reacting.
I don't know why you would say that because
I can't get you to just unequivocally say that that's unhinged. You hedge. You struggle with it.
Dude, that I gave him, like, I'm not lying when I say that I gave him so much leeway with this, and it got to a point that was just absolutely like it is.
But why is it hard for me to get you to say that it's fully unhinged to accuse him and his wife of wanting Palestinian kids to die? Why do you do this thing where you look up in the sky and you kind of go and you just have it's just, you physically
Hutch
can't
is,
do
a great deal.
Patience.
He is doing a great deal for those who want to who want that to be the case. So whether or not they actually like believe that, it doesn't matter. It's sort of like, what are the consequences of your actions? What are you
blaming him for the harassment? You're doing what Hasan did. You're blaming him for the harassment.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You just said a moment ago. Well, what you're basically saying. Well, look at the things that he said. That's why these people are saying these things.
Hold on. Give me a second. Harassment, tattoo, commenter. All right, here is a pretty good example.
Am I not caught up?
Ethan did remove this, but this is an example of just like the kind of that he does pretty often. So
I still can't get over that. I couldn't get you to just say, okay, yeah, that's unhinged. Why is that hard? Why is your instinct to dive into the nuance and the complexities in the context when it comes to these people who engage in fully unhinged behavior, like saying enjoy hell under a Star of David and telling Ethan and Hila that they want Palestinian kids to die? You can't just say like, yeah, that's up, and I probably would be really upset too. You have to do all this. You do these games where you dance around it. You just don't want to acknowledge that they were harassed.
That doesn't explain the level of.
Of course, it explains it though. Of course, it explains it.
It doesn't justify it.
If you felt like the whole internet was after, if you had this like podcast audience and you had been introduced to this like new kind of like more left sort of like audience through the podcast with Hasan or whatever, and then basically like on a dime, they all turn against you, and you're getting thousands of messages a day with the most.
Talking about you and I, we're both people who have been content creators. We know people aside from Ethan that are like pretty much in the same like level of success that guy has. If other people, like everybody has their fair share of trauma and that they're going through, and it doesn't like if you saw another creator doing what he did, like who had like a similar level of just strife within their daily life, it would not. I would like to think that
you're generalizing. It would just depend on the context. Like if I felt like that person, had a legitimate grievance with people, like thousands of people harassing them, and I'm not going to fault another creator for taking shots back at the people. You know, it's all just
this. Okay, this is.
We're sharing. Let's go.
Playing a video. I'm just showing you this. This is the sort of thing that he does constantly. This woman right here posted an 8-second TikTok video. There was nothing like it was the epitome of like
just show the video.
Like,
just show the video.
It was there's no way that you could construe it.
I want to see this video, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I want to see that video. Like I want to know what he's reacting to. Like what you're.
Okay, you want to see the video? Fine.
Yeah. Like does she have? Like I want to know what she said.
She didn't say anything. Like literally the entire video. See what it says there? It says,
she
I really
said
tried to
nothing.
get history and all associated drama in my past. But what do you mean he got his wife's face tattooed on his arm? Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. What else was she saying?
She doesn't say anything. All she does is that she just goes like, oh.
Oh, he froze up.
God, and she puts her hand over her face. That's literally everything that's in the video. Now I also want to read you her, because she wrote a pretty detailed letter of what she went through after this, after she was called out by.
You want to talk about the trauma and harassment that she endured, and you don't want to touch the trauma and harassment that Hila and Ethan endured.
It doesn't.
Like that doesn't matter to you, but her trauma does.
It matters to the extent, but it's just like what you're doing here is that you're acting as though their actions are justified by what they're getting, what is being thrown at them, and it absolutely.
I understand the instinct to want to fight back when there's a massive internet pylon
about what they're experiencing.
I understand the instinct to fight back when there's a massive internet pylon. I understand that instinct. That makes sense to me. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I co-sign like everything that Ethan has said, because I'm sure he's gone fully unhinged at times, and I'm sure he would benefit from logging the off from time to time. But I understand the instinct when you have not just those creators themselves, but their entire audiences that are flooding your socials with the kind of crazy shit that he and his wife were getting. I understand the instinct to want to punch back. Yeah.
Next time, that makes I of course, like as someone who has been with like I've had like
this goes beyond they called CPS on his kids, bro.
Yeah, I've had people who.
Can we just marinate on that for a second? Hold on. They called CPS on his children. They involved the government in his children.
Who called CPS?
Do you think it was coincidence that after a certain creator that I won't even name and Denims covered this Giardia shit on their socials that immediately after someone called CPS on them. You don't, that doesn't strike you as a very odd coincidence?
You mean
They're
the
part of
same
the ecosystem.
Denims that he had to publicly do a retraction on? The one that he
That's
like
a
made
crazy
all
way to put it. She withdrew her lawsuit, by the way. She withdrew her lawsuit.
Yeah, but he retracted before she did that.
What did he retract?
that
No, you're
because
framing that so dishonestly because he was making he was mocking her with the way that
that's not
he was
true.
egging her
That's
on.
not
He was
true.
saying, yes, sue me. Let's do it. Let's go. He was straight up saying that.
No. You didn't see. Here, wait. You didn't see the retraction.
He's got all
that
the
he did? I'll show you.
Oh, no.
I'll show you that.
Okay, everything that you're doing is on.
Find very easily.
Everything that you're doing. Wait, hold on. Everything that you're putting is on the stream right now.
Uh-oh.
Just making sure
Porn.
you don't put any addresses or whatever.
Okay, I'm not.
Okay.
Fuck me.
Let's see if this
What a
is.
state.
I know I have to mute this, but I just want to make sure that.
Are you really going to bat for Denims right now?
Uh-oh. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course he will.
Denims
Yeah.
is.
Are you really defending what she did?
Grind to
She didn't
unfriendly.
do anything. She watched a video.
She didn't do anything.
and,
She
like,
used her
let me-
believe
platform
that.
to tell her
Yeah.
audience that Ethan was neglecting his children.
She did not.
She
did not.
absolutely did. What are you talking about?
Watch.
She absolutely did.
Watch the video.
What are you talking
Watch the video,
about?
Hutch.
If
Stop
you
deflecting.
look, watch this. This completely addresses what you're talking about here. I have two clips, and I have to make sure which one is which.
There's something from Denim.
Okay. Yeah.
I just don't know why you would deny that that's what she did. She pulled up BE's video on her stream and was talking about the dangers of Giardia, and she's fucking smiling and laughing, and all of her chat, like people in her chat are typing fucking CPS and you're going to bat for that? Like this is okay behavior?
Dude, she was.
You're getting mad at Ethan for calling attention to a guy's public Instagram profile, but you have no smoke for Denims, who was basically.
Dude, stop it!
Dude,
Stop
dude,
it! 'Cause
dude,
You're
dude.
getting a lot of things wrong. First of all, Ethan.
I'm not. I've seen the videos.
Ethan doctored the fucking
Doctored.
like chat. He like made it seem as
Oh,
though
no.
like
Oh,
every
no.
single.
He addressed that on his stream, by the way.
What?
That's not the point. It's not that everybody. She had multiple several people in her chat that were talking about calling CPS.
There's
She
enough
did
people to
nothing
fill a
to
page
address that
within like a couple of
or
minutes.
discourage that.
Oh,
She-
no.
She absolutely was pushing a narrative.
This proves that you are wrong, dude. This proves that you are wrong. Okay.
Damn.
I have two clips, and maybe I'm not sure which one is which. So just give me 2 seconds. But okay. This is part 2. Okay, we're gonna watch both of them. Maybe.
I can't believe you're defending this, bro. Why did she pull up BE's? Why did she pull up BE's video? Why did she pull up BE's video
Uh-oh,
talking
asking the same
about
question over and over again.
Giardia
Hell
and
yeah, that's a good
neglect?
technique.
Why did she watch that video on her stream?
Why did she?
Why wouldn't she? Like.
What?
Because she knows he's a
Why
liar.
wouldn't
What?
she? Because it's fucking unhinged to accuse someone of neglecting their child like that.
Uh-oh.
I can't get you to acknowledge that. You're so ideologically
You're trying to get me to acknowledge things that your
That's
version
crazy.
of what happened.
That's great. You got mad at Ethan for showing someone's public Instagram profile, and you're like,
Watch this,
and you had.
dude, this.
I've seen the clip
dude.
that you're talking about. This is not new. Like you can show it.
I don't think you.
He's like mocking her.
Hold
Hold on, mute your mic.
Stated that Denims herself filed the preceding CPS report, or that
Oh, no, he
Denims
can see my-
caused others to do so. The letter also states on March 11th, I acknowledged Denims had denounced herself or anyone in her
God, that
community
crackle. Holy
making
shit.
contact with CPS. Let me be clear. I have never claimed that Denims called CPS. Bro, you're so smug. She did CPS. Remember that? Okay, good. I have never implied that Denims called CPS.
She did
If my
CPS. What? She did this? She pushed the fucking CPS narrative. Oh my god. I
statements
remember
were
this.
interpreted as stating this. I want to correct the record and make it clear that I do not believe that Denims called CPS. Obviously,
did not state.
moronic, idiotic,
He
stupid.
never said she called CPS.
Obviously, moronic, idiotic, stupid.
Bro, you are so smug. She did CPS. Remember that? Okay.
Do you understand the context of what we're watching right now?
Just the point in the letter that I claimed Denim caused others to call CPS. I did not state, and I do not believe Denims made a direct call to action to her audience to contact CPS. Obviously, right?
Obviously, idiotic,
spread
stupid,
the narrative that
moronic.
resulted in it.
Do you understand what he's saying?
Let's call CPS. He's an abuser.
I understand that this was a retraction that he was legally obligated to do.
But did you hear,
legally
did you hear what
obligated?
he said, though? Did you hear what he actually said? He said that
Couldn't
he
he
was
say he
clarifying
never
that
said
he was
it?
not accusing her of doing
That
a
would still keep the
direct
defamation
call
case
to
going.
action. Can you acknowledge that someone's community, like you can find fault in someone's community, or you can have the position that somebody enabled that.
But he had made that claim many times.
Why did she watch BE's video? Why did she watch BE's video on
witch hunt?
Why? I can't believe I cannot believe that you're like sticking up for that. Why did she watch BE's video?
What?
She watched, she featured, she
watched a video.
What was in that video? What was in that video? What was in that video?
Video where Ethan was saying over and over again, like I think that I have giardia, and my kid was playing around in dog feces, and of course he didn't say,
Did he say that?
those things specifically, but he was saying that, and then like
So you think it was justified to call CPS?
same thing.
He never said his kid was playing around in dog feces? Oh my god.
So you think it was justified to call CPS?
Why'd you throw that one in?
No, of course not. And she said like.
Okay, so do you understand that?
What, so the kids are being abused
Very
potentially, but you
broadcast,
shouldn't call CPS?
Like, it's stupid to call CPS. She said like, no, don't do that.
Do you? Well, why would she watch the video? Why would she watch that video then?
Because she wanted to shit on Ethan.
Even if she
was using a liar to do
an
it.
entertaining video. What do you mean? She obviously was lending credence to the video.
She believed it
was
uncritically.
not saying I mean the first of all, we forgot to mention this, that when Ethan first mentioned the CPS thing, the CPS visitor told him that someone he knew had made the call.
I understand that, but you understand that anybody in either of those two's audience could have told CPS like, oh yeah, I'm their gardener, I'm their nanny, or something like that.
I think that it is fucking ridiculous to pin this on her. There's no evidence that she did it.
She spread the narrative. Oh god, wait, hang on. I'm gonna find the clips.
That's fucking crazy.
Hang on. Oh god.
The reaction that they have, people like look at the reaction and they act as though everyone was like in some sort of moment of just desperation, just like that they were dead serious. When that's the sort of like if you hear an adult talking about like literally like him,
come on,
he
be quick,
and his wife and his kid possibly getting some sort of fecal born illness, and on top of that,
individuals to his
the people who like his crew are saying like, really, like seriously, and he's not like saying like,
I don't think it's fairly realistic to pin the blame squarely on her.
Okay.
Sequence, which is
your room.
No, that notification is going to ruin this one.
This is a good bit. Okay, this is the bit. Okay, got him. Speed up.
Like the natural reaction is going to be.
Oh my
like,
goodness!
If I was watching that, I'd be like, call CPS, but like totally joking around.
Oh, Vadim.
Like, it's fucking disgusting.
Oh, Vadim.
Like what do you mean, oh, Vadim?
I'm trying to get you to.
Are you telling me that if you saw like?
I'm trying to get you to talk. I'm trying to talk you down off this fucking ledge that you're on because you're taking.
I'm not on a ledge.
Yeah, you are, bro. Do you understand that? Like when you call CPS on someone's house, you're in the fucking system, man. Like the government is showing up at your house, and there's this. Now you're engaged in this like process to justify you having guardianship over your own children, and I can't get you to acknowledge that.
Like I am okay with calling.
Yeah, but what conclusion am I supposed to jump to if you're like, well, he was talking about his kids having giardia on stream, so it's like people are going to be concerned about that, like. Oh
no, I'm saying people will joke around about it. Like you're being like super fucking disgusting.
The call happened. The call happened right after these two creators did this stuff. It happened right after that, and you're like, well, I think it's a stretch that somebody in their community did it. Really? It's a stretch? What about the skulls? What about the skulls?
Don't pivot to the skulls.
What about the skulls?
Stay on this. He's so uncomfortable with the
He blamed
CPS.
Hasan for
Say
this. He
CPS.
blamed he blamed Noah for this. Like
They're all to blame.
A million people.
They all share the blame. I agree with him.
No, they don't.
Yes,
No,
they
don't.
allowed their audiences to radicalize to such a degree where they're doing animated videos of. They did not make any serious attempts. They did not make any serious attempt to like actually moderate this stuff and push their own audience away from this rhetoric. They allowed it to like blow up into something way bigger than what it was. Like, what are the skulls? Like, can I get you to admit? Can I get you to concede?
No,
Oh my.
I mean, like maybe somebody sent them to him, and if so, that's fucked up, stupid, and wrong.
Hutch, answer your
But
fucking
it's
DMs.
You know, like
Someone tell him to answer his DMs.
Like, just he stopped talking
He's
about
losing
that
it.
completely. Like it just there's a
We got a
lot
kill
of
shot.
evidence that
Fuck.
like he did not.
No, there's not.
push any, like, real
No, there's not.
evidence
What do you mean? There's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of evidence they sent it to himself. This is like this. This reminds me of earlier in the conversation when I said like you were basically saying, well, that doesn't sound like the Hamas I know. Like you're doing the same thing, but with these like lefty like you really don't think
I'm not.
in this
No, I'm
vast swath of like millions of left
Who
wing
said
people
that
that
doesn't
consume
sound like the
left-wing content,
Hamas I
you really
know?
don't think
What?
that there was somebody extreme enough to send them
They
a
talking
skull
about the
after
conflict as
everything
well.
we've seen so far?
But the evidence that I have seen.
No, you want to believe that he sent it to himself because you have constructed a narrative in your mind about
I
him.
think that's extremely likely. I'm not saying that is
Extremely likely.
definitely the case. But
No, you want that to be true.
Thank you,
want
Derek.
that to be true because otherwise you would have to. Otherwise, you would have to acknowledge that certain communities have become so extreme.
Ethan is that much of a liar, and and on top of that, he hasn't furnished any evidence that I feel like
Any evidence? He showed he showed the fucking skulls, and you guys claim that he sent it to himself.
They are traceable. They had serial numbers on them.
Oh my god.
So the FBI would find out who ordered them?
People like found them on the on the internet. Like it's like I think
it's so somebody bought skulls and sent it to his house. Like assuming, let's just assume that's true.
From skulls.com. It came straight from skulls.com.
And what did you think?
Do these guys think that someone just fucking chopped two people's heads off and sent them to Ethan and Hila? These are the skulls of two murdered Jews. Is that what the assumption was?
Somebody actually went and murdered two people and got their skulls?
Okay.
Like, obviously, they bought it online.
I don't think, I'm saying that I don't think that you were saying that somebody got them and sent them. Like, it wasn't sent from like somebody's house to him. It was sent directly from skulls.com.
And that makes it better?
No, it's just like what you said was incorrect.
Hutch is not reading Discord. He's not reading
I
DMs.
feel like we're nitpicking
He's
here.
fucked.
I mean, so
He's
I
fucked.
said somebody sent him skulls, and you're like, well, actually, it's technically skulls.com sent them. Well, okay, who ordered them? That's the point.
That shit is traceable, and so why? Like he should be able to get to the bottom of that.
Well, he opened up. I mean, he said that he reported it, and so I mean, I'm sure you understand that there are ways that people could like mask purchase. You could you could pay for it in a way that would be difficult to trace or something. But who knows?
Yeah, maybe that's the case. But
I think what I view from you is you are just straight up jumping through hoops to acknowledge the very real trauma that I think Ethan and his wife went through. I think they were traumatized by this event, and I think that they felt targeted.
Traumatized a great deal of people. They have been like just on like they spread so much toxic misinformation about Israel, and they are like if you look at the people that they are kind of like siding with these days, it's all like 95% of it is like super right-wing people.
Make
like
names.
He is like complimented the Quartering and Keemstar, all these people that he never in a million years.
He defers to these people in the conflict.
Yeah, but this is like the perfect example. This is like the perfect example of like the left. Like don't have. You might want to pull up your camera, by the way, because I'm still on the screen here.
Okay, all right.
The left, they seem to struggle with this a lot, where they oftentimes. Now I'm not saying it's just like it's justified to do like an Anna Kasparian thing or whatever. But when you pile on in the way that they piled on with just end the stream. Just hit stop streaming, remember?
I'm trying to find trying to find Discord to begin with so that I can end the stream. Sorry. There we go. Hello?
Yeah. So
Furry.
when you pile on someone the way
bastard.
that they all piled on to Ethan, and this wasn't just like a week or 2 weeks. This is months and months and months of this harassment. Let's call it what it is. Would you call it harassment?
Harassment.
Do you think Ethan and Hila were harassed?
I think Ethan has legitimately been harassed over the course of this time. He has done more harassing. His community has done way more harassing. He's done way more lying. There is just like shitloads of insane lies that he has put out there. And if your answer and if your question is like, what? Next time we talk, I'll give you like tons of examples, like tons. There's no. And I'll be right at the ready, unlike I was today, with just because I did not know that we'd be going into this so heavily. I'll be able to substantiate every single thing I said, like I said from the beginning of it. So, that's the thing. Like, I do recognize that he has been,
but you don't,
and in some cases,
but you don't recognize the responsibility of the creators whose audiences became so unhinged that they started engaging all kinds of crazy behavior, like the stuff that I mentioned, which you said. Now you don't even acknowledge that it happened. You think he did it to himself. It was actually, no. You said he sent a skull to himself to lie, and then you implied that actually it wasn't anyone in anyone's audience. It was somebody that was like close to him. You know, you're just like you're denying.
Yes, he. Ethan said that. Ethan said that.
Ethan said that the person impersonated. Ethan said that
to him. Hey, get down. That's not. He did not say that they impersonated someone. That I've watched that clip several times. He did not say that.
You seem to think that I guess it was just a massive coincidence that this happened. You know,
within
like a day of Denims covering the video.
It's live now, so
I don't think you think that creators have responsibility to curate the kind of audiences that they foster. And I'm saying in the case of these like massive lefty content creators, they knowingly radicalize their audience, and then it becomes a cycle of audience capture. So they know that if they their audience has become radical and beyond radical, and they know that if they don't act radical themselves, they're going to lose a good portion of their audience. So they become more radical, and then their audiences become more radical.
That all of this applies so much more to Ethan's community, because Ethan's community, by the way, has just fused with fucking Destinies, which I'm sure you know is a toxic ass community that does like tons of brigading and like fucking horrible shit. Their communities are basically like super intertwined at this point. So that's like when I was bringing up what's her name, the journalist, what's her name again? Remind me.
Taylor Lorenz.
Yeah, the H3 girlies, they're all Destiny
Lorenz.
fans.
People were for just like this. Oh, and you don't even know what that I'll tell you about that comment that she left. For that one comment, which had one sentence where she said that like Ethan needs to clean up the dog shit on his rug, they are going to her sponsors, like the people who, like her main sponsor that she gets most of her money from.
Do you think it's irresponsible for her to do that?
Well, do you know what actually happened? She was reacting to something on the,
She knew what she was doing. She was piling on with the CPS thing. She knew what she was doing. Come on. Was it irresponsible for her to do that?
Do you know that Tom Ward, I think his name is, who works for H3, months ago when she originally put that on there, like less than an hour or two later, he got in touch with her and said like, hey, this is like we saw this, we think that this is really lame and irresponsible of you. And she like apologized. She heard like basically they told her, they said like, Ethan has been receiving a lot of harassment here on Reddit, and basically,
do you agree
that they reached out to her? Yeah, but not nearly as much as.
You don't think that was irresponsible for her to do that? Was this after CPS was called?
I think that it's.
Is this after CPS was called?
No, this is months before. This is like, or maybe not months before, but it was. I think it was before.
This was before CPS.
I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter.
Of course it matters.
One reaction.
Yeah, of course it matters.
She's like, the fact of the matter is that she went ahead and she helped help them out because she's had like a lot.
No, hold on. Ethan exposed this. He did an Instagram story showing like just how disingenuous that claim was. I don't use Instagram, so I can't pull it up. You're taking her at her word, and Taylor Lorenz, by the way, is a hack fuck. She's an interesting character. Yeah.
She posted the conversation that she had with Tom Ward, and her reporting is like I will never in a million years.
She claimed that she had no hold on. She lied because she claimed that Ethan and their team reached out to her and asked her for help with like Reddit. She just fully lied, and then they showed the exchange, and that's not what happened at all. Like they reached out to her and called her out for something, and then she was like, she offered to help. Like, oh, I have connections at Reddit, I can help you maybe with snarky stuff or whatever. But this idea that that they had asked her to help her with Reddit was just a lie. She just knowingly lied. So, like, as soon as somebody gets caught
I do not believe. Like, I mean. I would have to see more evidence on both sides. She showed of the discussions that she had, and Ethan lies. Like when we talk another time, I will show you undeniable evidence.
I keep hearing that. I keep hearing that. I keep hearing that from you.
Yeah. Well, I have to have this stuff like all together in order to like make a presentation and just kind of have it like that's the kind of that's the
thing about this is like we think it's like if only there's more evidence for this little claim or that claim or maybe this claim was Ethan was being unhinged. It's so much more black and white than this. Ethan constantly denounces people like Destiny. He doesn't promote Destiny's content on his show. He doesn't like sing Destiny's praises. He actually said that Destiny was completely, guess whose side he took with the Destiny and Pixie thing? He took Pixie's side. So it's funny to compare that with Hasan, who literally glazes Bad Empanada, who is far worse than anything that Destiny's community does. Like, I don't think Destiny's community goes around looking for fucking people's addresses, okay, and telling their communities that you should go to these addresses because there are people here who are fucking baby killers and shit like that. Like, it's not even a contest with how much is tolerated on Vadim's side versus on the Ethan H3 side. Like, it's not even a contest. This shouldn't be a difficult conversation.
Wait, can someone in chat, someone who's got a link to that exchange? Because they posted the exchange. I just want to show it on the stream. Does anyone have a link to that? She just fully lied about it. Like she said that Ethan and Hila were begging her to help with Reddit. That's what she originally said. And then they posted the exchange. It was nothing like that.
Hold on. Taylor.
Chat, do I have any Instagram savvy people? I don't use Instagram, so I don't know.
Like, I don't understand why you, well, I do understand because you just think that Ethan is like an extremely honest actor. But it's like, this is sort of like the
just more so than the situation where
really. It's just we get to a situation where it escalates to the point where CPS gets called on Ethan and Hila, and I can't get you to acknowledge it's wildly irresponsible for creators to use their platform in the way that they did, including Taylor Lorenz and Denims. Like I can't get you to say like, okay, yeah, in retrospect, maybe they shouldn't have done that because it escalated.
Wait, you're talking about Taylor Lorenz?
I think both like Taylor Lorenz and Denims knew that what they were doing when they like were using their platform to
ridiculous. She hears some sort of story like you've seen the footage.
Thank you so much.
Talking about like it was such a
here, watch. Hold on.
You're like talking about this like it's like just like.
Yeah, I have the post. I don't know if you have my stream open, but I have the post here. But, like it looks like. How do I do this here? Like this?
Here, I have a post. Explain this.
They reached out. They reached out to Taylor. They reached
Tom Ward.
Wait, what do you?
From Tom Ward. I think that this negates what you're going to
I have the exchange up on my screen. Just let me say what I'm looking at. So like somebody reached out. Hey Taylor, is that your page? She says, hi. Oh God, no, not the H3 subreddit. So it's not you. And then she says, do you know what's going on with Ethan? By the way, I've only been following tangentially. It's an account that promotes work. They're claiming that she lies about that. I've just seen videos of Ethan crashing out, and he was harassing Frogan last year, and Caprice and Poppy so badly they needed help. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And then the person responds, oh, do you have a comment? Because Ethan will talk about it today. She says, talk about what? They say, that post. Is it not yours? She says, no, you can say the username in the photo. They say, good. She says, please leave me out of this meltdown. I want nothing to do with this drama whatsoever. They say, there's nothing to say. It's not yours. That's all he wanted to know. She says, he needs to stop harassing people and antagonizing Redditors. It's the worst way to engage.
Wow. Queen.
Says Ethan's lunatic fans are now brigading all my social channels and harassing, deleting me, my brand partner. This is completely insane, like I've said from the jump. What? He hasn't said anything. I just posted this on TikTok and I guess it's some subreddit.
We're catching up.
Sorry, about to hop on a call with Brand. And then it shows her here saying, KK, I reached out to Reddit, by the way. and 2 other creators who have gotten their pages taken down. And she offers her help here. She claimed that Ethan and Hila had reached out to her and begged her for help.
What I'm looking at right now, Tom Ward sent her a message. This is like when they finished talking on March 11th. Tom Ward says, "Good talking with you today. Ethan has calmed down and appreciated the intro to the head of creators at Reddit. We've gotten nowhere with them." So that substantiates her story.
No, wait, she said that they begged her for help.
What do you like?
I'm saying she is a liar. She is a liar. She knowingly lied.
I think that at worst there's some sort of like hyperbolic.
No, wait a second. She said they begged her for help.
Dude,
Hutch is locking in.
Clearly,
that baldy torpedo.
She clearly helped
that
them.
human missile is fucking firing.
What else would this mean? Good talking with you today.
It's like
appreciated the intro to the head of creators at Reddit. We've gotten nowhere with them. It completely makes sense that they would have. Like begged is already like
we have a torpedo emote.
Like,
guys, get your torpedo emotes out. What the fuck is that one?
She
I don't know that one.
To help.
Is that a YouTube one or is that my one?
She said that they begged her. That is just a lie. That's not hyperbole. That's a lie.
Man, it's like such a small ass thing.
It's a lie.
The goal is 10 minutes to go. 8 minutes actually. 3 more for the goal. 3 more for the goal. 3 more for the goal. Fuck you guys. I'm going overtime for you idiots. Shit. That's why you should like me and give me money.
That small detail, there's the wildly different context between the truth and what she said. We call that a lie.
He went on and lied about her career, saying that she got fired for a reason that she didn't. Repeated all these things that basically fucking knuckle dragging quartering types have been saying about her for years that are absolutely.
Was this before or after? Was this before or after she started throwing shots at him?
I don't fucking care. It's like.
What do you mean?
She did not throw shots at him.
Really? You just told me a moment ago she posted that Ethan's kids need to stop
anything publicly.
Really? You just said just a moment ago that several months ago she said that.
To the extent that Ethan did, he did she didn't fucking screenshot shit and put it on
No, she just said Ethan needs to clean up the shit in his house.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and that was back in March 11th. She was replying to one person that's one fucking sentence, and of course
March 11th. That's after CPS, bro. That's after CPS. If she did that on March 11th.
Right, but I'm talking about it's before, but okay, so it's after CPS. It doesn't fucking matter, dude.
Wait,
the point is,
how does that not matter? Is it irresponsible for her?
She goes on to say
that's crazy.
I'll read what she said.
That's crazy. Is it irresponsible for her to say that after CPS has already been called, after it's been escalated to that level? You don't think that she was obviously trying
joke on Reddit like it's just like you're acting.
There were real consequences, bro. We're talking about government intervention.
Oh my god, you're this is.
Oh my god.
You're taking a molehill. You're not making a mountain out of it. You're making
my dad used to say that.
Fucking Jupiter out of it.
Hutch is so cucked without that clip I sent him. Oh my god, that clip would actually obliterate the boy. Okay, I don't know.
It is just this
You don't think it's irresponsible for creators to after this makes it even crazier, by the way.
Things that are nothing burgers.
This is not nothing, bro. If the government shows up at your house and threatens to take your kids away, that's not nothing. We're so far beyond nothing at that point, and I just find it so insane that I can't just get you to say obviously things have gotten way out of hand. It escalated way too far.
Ethan and run into the craters.
She had already apologized to them about that remark at the time, at the point that all
good for her. She shouldn't have done that. That's wildly irresponsible. Wildly irresponsible rhetoric.
I
can't believe you're defending these people.
I give a shit about you're just.
So bold.
You have all this indignation.
No, you want to live in this. You want to live in this world where Ethan and Hila are these evil bad guys, and they're doing all this stuff unprovoked, and they're just harassing people. And you have and
hey, Lana, thanks for the $5. I really appreciate that. Dumb fuck. You said call me an idiot again, so I'll do it again. Thorn, thanks for the $5. Don't know if this guy's lying or stupid. I think he's like, every impression I get from Vadim is that he doesn't really have much of it. He doesn't have a very strong sense of self. So he's found his new club and he'll just commit to that. I think that's the most important thing to him. Speedy Taco, thanks for the $5. Hawk Tua, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And everybody that they ever took shots at were these poor victims who weren't themselves responsible for crazy, irresponsible rhetoric themselves. It's just, you know, you want to live in that world, and I don't live in that world. I think that's not reality. I think you are ideologically captured to the point where you're forced to run defense for the craziest shit. You need to disentangle yourself from that, bro. Like, come back to reality.
Read again what she said on Reddit of all places, and like a place where like so.
I am so familiar with Taylor Lorenz. She's
burger. Like you were like kind of defending him going.
CPS being called on their. You're saying that's a nothing burger. CPS being called on their. CPS being called on the family is a nothing burger.
What I don't want, the world that I don't want to live in is a world where people.
Is that a nothing burger? Is CPS being called?
Can like take things.
Taylor Lorenz is not in a position of power. She's not in a position of influence.
She didn't use that position of power or influence to fuck with Ethan. Like
what?
Of that, like.
What?
Pause for a second. Dude, think about what you just said.
Dude, you're so fucking out of line here. He posted like...
You just said she didn't use her platform to go after Ethan moments after telling me that she posted that he needs to clean the shit up at his house after CPS was called.
What?
You just said that she didn't use her platform to fuck with him moments after telling me that she posted that Ethan needs to clean the shit up in his house after CPS had already been called. And you're saying she didn't,
you moron, on Reddit, on an account that like she's like barely attached to. Like she's not doing it on Twitter, she's not doing it on Instagram, she's not making a YouTube video. She's not
who cares? It's Taylor.
She's just making it like
it was just her Small Beans Reddit account, so it's not a big deal.
As an example, and just like make it sound like it is this like it wasn't even like an out of the like beyond the pale remark to make. Like most everything that she was saying was like pretty like yeah, he does need to do that stuff.
You think that was appropriate? You think that was appropriate for her to say that after CPS had been called?
He went on, and then after all of this, he went on to tell lies about her job, about like.
I would have been pissed if I was him. I would have gone after her. I would have taken shots for sure. For sure.
All right, well, what you are doing is that you it's like somebody giving you a Charlie horse, and you like.
CPS being called on your kids is a Charlie horse.
Into their brain.
CPS being called on your kids is a Charlie horse.
Taylor Lorenz didn't fucking do that, dude.
He piled on after the fact. That's crazy.
Didn't do that. Oh god, he needs my clip. He needs my clip. Ah, he needs my clip.
Before it happened is already bad. After is even worse.
She went on, and then she did help them, whether or not like they begged. She totally helped them.
No, she lied about that.
Oh, okay. No,
she obviously lied about that.
She didn't lie about helping them.
Yeah, no, she obviously lied about like them begging her. She lied about that.
Well, lie. That is such like a like.
You don't think it matters when people lie? Like we should just like forgive when people lie?
Hell yeah, my guys.
I think it's a big deal to lie about that. That's crazy.
You can tell from the message. You can tell from the message that they were relieved.
Just call him and see what he does.
It like denotes
play the clip for us at least.
That they were having.
He keeps saying to Denims and Taylor Lorenz like it doesn't matter. You know they didn't do it. You know they didn't do the call. It's okay. They just made the claims that would have resulted in the call, right? Like. Denim spread the claims that would have resulted in the call. Vadim understands this because he made this argument about Lauren Southern with the Christchurch shooting. If I don't die here, I can show you, okay? Thank you. Look.
Ruined this final sequence, which is really good.
He's got the video. The video's not on his channel anymore, but Surf's reacting to it is.
No. Individually, I don't think it's fair or realistic to pin the blame squarely on her. It takes a whole ecosystem of groups and key individuals to inspire acts like that, more than I can possibly fit in this scrolling set of pictures. But yes, she was a key player inside that ecosystem. She was a redwood. We can't really know, so for the most part, I leave the facts as they are, and you do what you will with them. To be fair, there's probably a decent handful of people and groups who influence them far more, but does that even matter when she pushed so many of the same ideas as others we do know influenced him along with those people? Does it even matter when we can see so many commonalities between his manifesto and her everyday discourse and work?
Everybody, yeah, it's like it's so obvious. It's so obvious. It's not results-based analysis. It's the analysis of like, were they spreading the kind of claims and disinformation that resulted in the call? Doesn't matter who did the actual call. Anyway, yeah, he's just dead to rights. Fucked.
Very difficult time getting.
You're not seeing the point. You're just missing the point.
And
I just don't respect people like that lie.
Saying, like, we can't get in touch with.
I don't lie like that. I don't think you lie like that. I don't respect people who lie like that. That's a crazy. I don't respect people who do that. That's for internet clout. What?
Like ridiculous kind of like just acting as
hey, let's go.
Putting that on par with like just an egregious lie. It's not, and it's nowhere.
Let's see what happens.
That is an egreous lie. That is an egregious lie.
It is nowhere near as destructive as the lie as several lies that Ethan went on to tell about her and like talking about her career career, like all this shit.
She says she resigned from WAPO. He says she got fired. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know.
This is the shit that he does. He spreads like.
I don't know that she didn't lie. You just like you don't know about the skulls, right? Just like you don't know about the skulls. Like I don't know that she didn't get fired.
I will read what she had to say about this. So she said,
Lonerbox, what's up?
And by the way, the whole reason why he got mad at her to begin with was because Taylor Lorenz, had mentioned the fact that Hasan was banned for 24 hours covering the Shooter's Manifesto, even while denouncing it. That's why he originally went after her to begin with. That's why he took this message that they had already.
Okay, wait, hold on. Can we talk about like what do you call it, stochasticism or whatever, like stochastic behavior? I don't want to do a thing like somebody sent me a clip. I actually haven't really been keyed in on chatter. I'm like, somebody sent me a clip of you talking about Lauren Southern and irresponsible rhetoric that potentially contributed to the Christchurch shooting. Does that sound like something you've done?
That's bro, we watched that video together.
Okay, so I mean, you understand the concept of.
I need a minute and a half to get more water. I've been so fucking parched, and I can't talk another minute without it. Okay,
that's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay.
Right.
Let's see what happens. See if it hits. Are they gonna go watch it?
Soy pill. Okay, I did have some supers. Drums and other stuff. $2. I'm not gonna read like the mean stuff. $10. He just lied. Ethan said the CPS caller impersonated an employee. Okay, I'll read Soy pill when he comes back. I've been ignoring the subs and resubs. I try to focus if I'm debating someone. I don't want to get distracted and stuff. I'm just I'm sensing.
Of course he comes back.
So the Soy pill. Are you familiar with him?
Yes.
Okay, he says I'm
not that familiar with them, but I know them. I think they follow me on Twitter.
Okay, he said I'm a big fan of you, Vadim, and I think your blind spot is playing defense for the silliest actors on the left, of which you are not one. You're great, and at the right takedowns, take a pause on these guys. That's he wanted me to read that. So I think that
I appreciate that, man. And forget what I think I saw an interview with a little bit of Soy pill and this guy uninformed leftist. And
that guy's a fucking moron.
You know what? Just let's move on. But hey, reach out to me, Soy pill, because I'd love to talk with you about this stuff. I respect your point of view. But anyway, so what was the next thing you wanted to bring up?
I mean, you seem to be familiar with the idea of a certain responsibility that comes with having a platform. And
absolutely, that's like one of my big problems.
But you do not seem to understand the irresponsible nature of, for example, Denims doing what she did. It was wildly irresponsible, and
bring the nuke.
There were real-world consequences to that discourse, whether it was someone in her community or the other creators' community.
Missile.
It happened right after
big baldy ballistic missile.
Basically accused Ethan of neglecting their kids. I think in the case of one particular creator, who I will not mention, I think in the case of one particular creator, he knowingly lied about this stuff because he was trying to harass Ethan and Hila. This is like I don't know if you're running defense for this person. I don't even want to mention the person.
Why not?
No, this person is super toxic, so I don't even want to go there. This person will for sure lie about whatever. He will dox people. He will send people,
I mean,
and she was watching this person's content on her stream. And then like a day later, CPS shows at their house, and I can't just get you to understand that this is just wildly irresponsible.
I don't the reason why I'm not going to say that this is wildly irresponsible is because I don't sign off on your kind of the way that you're framing it all. And this is another topic that could is there another thing that we could have the conversation of just responsibility, kind of tying it to Lauren Southern, because like for instance, we could go back to Hasan and his remarks about the shooting that occurred.
To be fair,
you seem to think that
I would tell someone with a Star of David tat to enjoy hell too.
Thank
was
you for the $10.
Extremely irresponsible.
It was.
And,
yeah.
I mean,
if Tim Pool, whatever. I mean, I get that, but if Tim Pool went live one day and said, "I'm not saying that January 6th was a Fed conspiracy. I'm not saying that, but it looks exactly like." And these were basically what Hasan said, but it looks exactly like what a Fed conspiracy would look like.
Yep.
But I'm not saying it is one.
Do
you understand that? Do you understand that? Especially if you have an
does it
audience
look like a psyop as well?
It doesn't. And if you look at his chat when he said that, everybody was like, "Hella psyop, CIA psyop, blah blah blah." understand, like, this is irresponsible.
Some of them were joking, and I'm sure a ton of them.
What is the point of that commentary, by the way?
Just a joke, bro.
Let me get my sentence out. And I was about to say, and I'm sure a ton of them were 100% serious. So I'm not saying that I'm sure that exists. I do actually think what he did was responsible, because I'm someone who this cat is going to really pester me. Sorry, I know.
That's a big kitty.
Health warning.
So, you know, one thing that I have dealt with a great deal online in my work, the things that I talk about, is conspiracy theories and how damaging they are to, you know, just our social fabric and so many things. It creates violence. So, you know, it's something that it's a common thread within my work, even when I was doing Creationist Cat and whatnot. As a matter of fact, one of the things that kind of drew me to a lot of these topics to begin with was in like the early 2000s, I was hearing all these crazy ass conspiracy theories about 9/11. Yep. And I knew that they were horseshit, and a lot of them were also genuinely anti-Semitic as well. And it kind of was something that drew me to what at the time I thought of like as skepticism. It kind of got me.
What about? Okay, what about Hasan accusing Lonerbox of being a paid Hasbara propagandist?
Hold on. I
just want to jump to the substance here.
Come to my honor.
With what I was saying. So my point is that, like, you know, I'm actually
He's defending my honor.
I've debated people
my baldy shiny hero
a lot on matters of 9/11 conspiracies and
respectfully. I don't want this to drag out, and so I don't necessarily need the history. So I just want to get to the
okay. So my point is that I believe it's actually good to acknowledge, because the thing is that conspiracism is something that people are naturally drawn to, and the fact of the matter is that one of the big reasons why people are so drawn to this shit is because both, you know, America, Israel too, has told so many fucking lies that people
the fuck
get.
Up, man.
Like I don't think that it's
like
valid to believe.
The UN has told so many fucking lies. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah,
the UN has told so many fucking lies, and I can actually prove that as well. I can show you by the entire year how many incorrect statements they've made about like every fucking Israeli war. What? So I just throw out every single report that they ever do for the rest of eternity? Like, fuck off.
They're attracted to it. So my point is that I actually think it's responsible when something happens to like that kind of.
Why say?
It is totally. Actually like good to say like.
Why say? Wow, this looks exactly like a false flag. Like, why even say that?
It doesn't look like a false flag.
Like,
what commentary? What
no
value is that commentary?
No way of
I'm telling you right now.
You're just throwing red meat at the conspiracy brain people by doing that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of acknowledging to people. Yeah, you know what? Like, I can see it. This kind of does look this way. It's totally like if the like.
We could do the same thing for Marjorie Taylor Greene though if we really wanted to play that game. You know, like.
No, that's a completely different context. Because,
really?
Because they're right.
Yes, because Marjorie Taylor Greene has put a million different conspiracy theories out into the world, and Hasan is like someone who just does not engage. He does not like.
Yeah, he claimed in 2020 he claimed that the Iowa caucuses were the app that they used called the Shadow app, and he made a point to always say the name of the app, Shadow app. That Pete Buttigieg conspired with his ex-CIA friends to create a Shadow app.
The Shadow app
that intentionally fudged the numbers of a system that is played out in public with witnesses. You literally can't rig it. Even if you wanted to. And it only amounted to Pete's own victory being delayed by a couple of weeks.
So Hutch.
That's a fucking conspiracy theory. Okay? Don't tell me you believe this.
I agree with you this time.
Oh?
I saw that, yeah, I know. Crazy, right?
Oh my God. I didn't have to pull teeth to get that's wow. This is,
No, I mean, I agree. One, that
what about him saying Jelani was collaborating with Israel?
It's sort of like I saw that on your timeline, and
Vadim wouldn't answer that.
I know nothing about it.
He wouldn't commit to it.
But everything that I see of it, that looks super fucking stupid and fishy. And
what about accusing like the American intelligence of lying about Russia, you know, getting ready to invade Ukraine? I guess ostensibly to like, you know, to serve NATO expansionist goals or whatever. Don't you think that was wildly irresponsible too? The Biden administration, they knew that the Biden administration made the really bold decision to just come out and show what their intelligence. That's a more recent example, right?
I have to be able to speak to certain things. I have to finish like the thought of the other thing that you're talking about. So yes, that one thing that you're talking about in reference to Pete Buttigieg, I'm going to err on the side of that probably was like maybe there's some sort of explanation that I would hear from him and think differently, but it sounds like total bullshit. And yes, lots of people do kind of get won over by very sensible people here and there believe stupid bullshit. So that's probably what happened with.
What about accusing Lonerbox of being a Hasbara propagandist?
What about when it comes to the Russian example that you're talking about? That's not like what Hasan was doing there. His belief, and it was a sensible one, was that he made a prediction that Russia was not going to invade.
It wasn't sensible. It was just because it was U.S. intel.
Russia had already at that point amassed hundreds of thousands of troops along the Ukrainian border. And the Biden administration made the decision to just share that intelligence to get ahead of them doing a false flag.
First of all, this is something that he has responded to, like kind of like the allegations that you're making about his claim. Like he it's out there. You can find him kind of putting this into
his mea culpas. Whenever he does mea culpas, they're very lacking. It's always like he does what you're doing, where it's like, okay, yeah.
Hey, amelioration station. Remember when you said a fucking high velocity ammunition is the same as a sniper bullet? You fucking dumb retard. Well done. Turns out I was right. Fuck off. Bye bye. All right.
I said that thing, but I had a really good reason to believe
MLK.
that.
Sensible.
Holy shit.
Look, you have to allow me to explain what was sensible about what he said. Okay. He believed, and again, this is sensible. He believed that
America bad.
The fact that he thought that Russia had way too much to lose financially and otherwise to invade. So he made a bad call. That's what it was. It was a bad prediction, but that was like it not an unsensible prediction, and there wasn't anything like. He
wasn't basing it off of anything other than just like, I don't trust America. That was all he was basing it off.
Horny, let's do it. Ride at my pony.
No,
my saddle's waiting. Come and jump on it. If you're horny, let's do it. Ride at my pony.
What the fuck are you doing? Kind of move. He did not think.
Okay, what about fine. We can move past that one. Then. Fine.
Would be willing to be so self-sabotaging with he knew that it was going to have all these negative repercussions, which it did have, and he just didn't think that.
Okay, what about accusing Lonerbox of being a paid Hasbara propagandist?
First of all,
I don't know about that.
That's a tricky one for me.
Why?
Because
fucking why,
I don't think that they I talk with Lonerbox here and there, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that they paid for, or rather had everything paid for while they were out there. I think that they paid for their tickets there and whatnot, but they had a great deal of people who were showing them around.
No. When someone says it's a paid trip, the obvious context is that you were paid to do Israeli propaganda.
I mean, it was a propaganda trip. Israel is not going. And then that's really, I guess, what I have to say about it. I don't particularly have. I think that it is.
Oh my God!
Losing the forest for the trees to talk about whether or not it was a paid,
but that's what Hasan he accused him of being a paid Israeli propagandist. That's obviously what he's.
It was a propaganda trip. The reason they don't allow people to go in and look at all the shit that they have.
They also
expectation.
That's a fucking lie. That is a total fucking lie.
They were also highly critical of people when they were there too.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They talked with this. I think he's a rabbi. His name is Yishai Fletcher. Maybe I'm fucking up his name, But you know, he.
Wait, if Lonerbox is in the
He's
chat,
lying.
I don't
He's
know
lying. He knows Yishai was mad at my fucking coverage of that trip. He knows.
With it, but like
Lonerbox does admit, like,
you could join the Discord.
He knows
and
full
clarify
fucking
here,
well.
but
He knows
Hasan
full fucking
accused
well.
him
He's
of being a
lying.
paid
He's lying.
propagandist.
I'm not. I did not say he was a paid.
No, I said Hasan accused him of being a paid propagandist.
I don't think that it is out. Like he like. First of all, if someone goes somewhere and they end up getting like a lot of because there's no doubt that like both Lonerbox, Destiny to a lesser degree, but
when we were in the West Bank talking to fucking like
kind of,
people who were suffering in the checkpoints and
received
shit.
like a real boost in their.
Come on. We're talking about you're jumping through hoops to try to explain what Hasan said. What Hasan said, he was clearly saying that
it was a paid propaganda tour.
Lonerbox was paid
no
to
evidence.
go to Israel to do Hasbara propaganda.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I can explain it by, you know, taking this angle and that angle. That's a crazy thing to say. I mean, I feel like you should just be able to.
Crazy thing to say.
Yeah, it is, bro.
No,
that is.
It is a crazy thing to say. It's so fucking crazy.
Why? Like, do you think that there are not?
Because he's not a paid propagandist. It's not true. That's
How do
why
I get
think
in?
it's bad.
Where's the Discord?
Is
there a Discord link?
They would have paid them to go out there. They didn't take. This is my understanding. They did not take payment because they didn't want it to sort of like look like, you know, there's something
What's he basing this on?
Super phony in a situation like
What's
that.
he basing this on?
Would you be okay with Lonerbox like hopping in the call to explain what he did, or is that too confrontational for you?
That's fine.
I don't know if Loner, if you're watching, yeah,
I'm totally fine with that. But before he comes in, I want to clarify a couple of things because I think he's going to maybe clarify some other things that I spoke about, and I just want to make sure that like in terms of his conversation with that West Bank person that I mentioned, that
now he's going to clarify. Now he knows that we went to the West Bank and spoke to Palestinians.
Discussing
Okay.
it on his channel, he said
yeah.
he did admit that was the most extreme person that he spoke to while
now
he was
he's going
out
to caveat
there.
everything.
And
Okay,
there
well
was
done,
what
buddy.
he thinks
Beautiful.
of as being a bit of like pushback over the course of the conversations that they had. I did not look at it that way. But he did say one or two things about while they were at a certain place there was a mass shooting event years ago, and he did bring that up. So in that small way, he was kind of maybe challenging that person in that moment. So wanted to get that all out there. Maybe there's
Lonerbox, are you there?
Yeah, I heard people were talking about me.
Okay, perfect.
Hey,
all right.
What's up, dude?
Hey, okay, so first of all, things that we already all know, and I know that you know that Yishai Fletcher was really angry with my coverage of that trip, right?
I mean, he wasn't angry enough that he didn't, he used it as propaganda on his own channel.
No, with my coverage of the trip, the thing that I uploaded to my channel. You acknowledge that you know this because we've spoken about it. You know that he was angry with what I commented on that interview from my channel, right?
Of course, because it's his job to be to basically put a good face forward, and whether people like that are I guess what I'm saying is that I don't think it really matters that much that he was offended by that. If you were countering in the way that I think anyone should in that situation, he never would have wanted to use your footage on his channel to begin with.
Well, he used like B-roll that was not on my channel. I did not put that on my channel. He used B-roll. Like he used just raw footage. Yeah, of course you can do that. If you're a settler and you do an interview with Louis Theroux, you can clip out the parts of you talking and the bits that you like and just leave out the rest. But would that be Louis Theroux's fault that they got to do that?
I contacted you and I asked you what is the most substantial pushback that you did with that guy, and then you sent me what you commented on.
Mm-hmm.
So are you telling me that's the most did you not show me the most substantial pushback that you did
I
with
showed
him?
you my coverage of it, yeah, where I called him an insane settler who wants to conquer all the land, where he basically has this like equivocation about wanting to deport anyone he considers a jihadist, which, let's face it, would be pretty much all of them. I also spoke about how he was lying about Baruch Goldstein treating Arab doctors when he had in fact refused to treat Arab doctors. I also mentioned how he lied about Baruch Goldstein getting radicalized by the violence.
While you were talking to him, you didn't do any of these things while you were talking to him.
Wait, why? Why does that matter? Why does that matter if I'm going to do commentary for it afterwards?
He was able to use it as like, you know, like he used it as like he presented you guys, like, obviously he's not going to post anything on his channel that he thinks makes him look remotely bad, and so like you gave him like propaganda basically. Like that's
how did I give him propaganda? He was the one who was. He could have just filmed himself saying these things,
and not like I don't know, man. Like if I was hanging out with somebody who is the like spokesperson for Ben Gvir, I would be like way more on their ass than either of you guys were.
Okay, so you tell me. Well, you tell me that you tell me what. So you think I am not allowed then to just interview someone, let them speak freely, because I'm planning on editing content and doing something with it different from just the raw footage afterwards that pushes my opinion forward.
I think that.
How do I legitimize him? I'm a fucking nobody.
Like
what are you talking about?
I think with someone like that, because I watched other clips that you guys did. That's why I like came to you. I saw like a bunch of clips, some that were on his channel, and I think a couple of others that were uploaded to the guy who followed you guys around with the camera. I was frankly shocked when I was watching those at like just how much there was of you guys just like sitting back and just letting this guy just act like really fucking friendly with you guys. And that's his job. He wants to put like a kind face onto settler violence to begin with. Now, look, do I think that you went into it thinking like, I'm going to give this guy a layup? Like, I'm totally like going to make this guy look great? No, I don't think you did, but I think you did fail at something that you should have done. I mean, morally, I look at it like you should have, you had a moral obligation, given how fucking horrible what he is represents, to not challenge him more. Like the fact that at the end of it all, he like took selfies with you numerous times and whatnot. I like, look, for someone like that, I think that the way that you guys should end things is just like him thinking that you're a dick.
So I should have just fucking fought with him and maybe canceled and end up canceling the fucking trip like
yeah,
half
maybe,
the day earlier, or why? So by your logic, just to be clear, by your logic, just to be clear, by your logic, because Louis Theroux is not massively confrontational with people that he talks to. So if Louis Theroux does an interview with a settler, and that settler just grabs a few of the clips of them talking, but they just leave out the bits of the documentary that they don't like and put it on their channel and say, look, here's my conversation with Louis Theroux, and then they add some commentary afterwards, does that mean Louis Theroux did propaganda for them?
Dude, we've already...
The answer to that's no. The answer to that is clearly a fucking no. So no, I did not do propaganda for Yishai Fletcher. Yeah, there you go.
I came to you, and in that Louis Theroux documentary, there are questions that he asked.
And you just used the exact same answer that you were always going to use, which is the interpretation of the new crowd that you are beholden to. That's all it is. That's all it is. Because again, the only content that I've ever used on my channel with Yishai is me shitting on him. That's my content. That's my product. That's it. He can clip, by the way, he can actually, so even with my commentary, if that was the only thing that was up, he could have actually still just clipped all the raw footage and just taken out my commentary. And apparently I still would have been helping him do propaganda. Like, I understand.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't even think that the extent to which you quote unquote shat on him on your channel, like yes, you definitely went at him way harder than you did when you were talking to him, but like I still don't think.
Okay, what should I say? What should I have said that would have made him more responsible?
I was pleased to see you shit on him to the extent that you did, but given who he is, in my opinion, I feel like you never
should have shot harder.
That he is like you know, kind of part of the Ben Gvir squad. You didn't put that into perspective. I mean, like, I
said that he's a settler who wants to conquer the West Bank and kick out all the Arabs. But because of you, I should have been, oh, by the way, but he also is a Ben Gvir person. What the fuck?
Yes, that's pretty.
And it was it's disappointing to not throw that. Well, okay, that's yes, I understand. You're looking for anything. Okay, that's good.
I think that I mean, like, look. My general point here is that I don't think that you were kind of like, you know, either definitely when you were talking to him, but when
you've already conceded. This is like a nothing. This is a nothing objection. We can just move on. This is a nothing objection. Like by saying, by the way, he's also affiliated with Ben Gvir, even though he supports all the things that Ben Gvir supports and all the things on top of that.
Not a nothing objection.
It is. It's absolutely a nothing objection. It's just because every detail. So what if you said that? I could have just been like, oh, but you didn't mention that he lied about treating Arabs, because again, like we both know that I know the history of this conflict better than you do. So I could have easily just picked out little nits to yours as well.
I'll let you go on to the next thing, but it's like saying that it's not substantial. No, that's an extremely substantial. Like the fact that you like, if people like this, I believe that we have a duty to not make them look good in these situations and not have conversations that basically, because they want to present themselves to the public as just like both reasonable, rational. That's like why at the end of your conversations, like, you know, you guys, I'm not talking about that particular clip that you played, but the last shoot that you guys did, you did another selfie together. And you know, and you shook on it, and he was like, "Well, I'm glad we could agree to disagree." He says something to that effect, and you make this like this fucking murderous, bloodthirsty motherfucker look pretty like tame and like just like friendly and like somebody that you can like vibe with. It's the same problem that I have with often like a lot of the hangouts that Destiny did with Nick Fuentes. So yeah, it's not you can disagree with it, but it's not an unsubstantial. To say that, I think you're just dodging. I think you're deflecting, and it's weak.
Nothing you said there says anything I did was dodging or deflecting or weak. We both agree that he was angry with my content, with the way that I covered that content. He was angry with my commentary on that interaction. And that's the only Yishai Fletcher related content that I've put up on my channel. That's my content. The raw footage, the B-roll, the stuff that he could have easily clipped out for my commentary that he can use himself, that's his content. My content made him angry, okay? That's it. It's just as well. It's also just as well that like at least with me commenting on people like him, like there are at least like some people in my audience who could be like swayed by that away from positions that they might sympathize with, because I actually know how to talk to these people and you guys don't. But in any case, you're also aware though, you keep calling this like a propaganda tour. You think meeting Nabil al-Kurd to talk about his situation in Sheikh Jarrah, that would be an Israeli propaganda tour?
That's one moment where you guys were...
It's not one moment. That was like 2 or 3 days we were in the West Bank, and that was just West Bank related stuff. So
I've looked, unless there is a great deal of stuff that because I've looked at pretty much everything that is on that channel that guy posted, who shot your trip. There's nothing that I've seen there that does not lead me to believe that overall it was a propaganda trip. And the
propaganda for who? Propaganda for who? The government?
And I'm not saying that you went into it thinking like, oh, I'm going to do propaganda for Israel.
Yeah, you think I'm a useful idiot. It's fine. You think yeah, I'm asking you.
To begin with, they would not let you do that to begin with if they did not go in thinking like, we're going to get something pretty good out of this.
They would really. So, you think the Israeli government wouldn't have let us in if they didn't think they could get something good out of it?
Yes, they
thank you.
All
Listen, Vadim, my good friend, I love you. Thank you for confirming that you do not know absolute dick about this country that you've been talking about for the last 20 months. What a fucking unbelievably brain-dead, tone-deaf, disconnected way to approach this entire fucking country. Do you know that, like, I can go to Israel tomorrow and meet with fucking B'Tselem, who literally want Israel effectively abolished, And I can go to the West Bank with them and talk to fucking Hamas supporters tomorrow if I want to. I can listen. I can go to fucking Jenin and speak to people who say that they want Israel fucking destroyed and the Jews pushed into the sea. And I could publish all that. And I could go to Bet Salem and talk about how it's apartheid and there's a genocide in Gaza. I could do all that tomorrow if I wanted to. The Israeli government is not going to fucking only let me in. The Israeli government. The Israeli government is not only going to let me in because they think they can get something out of me. What the fucking mental thing to say? You don't know anything about that country. Why are you even talking about it if that's your assumption? Fuck me.
I mean, I would expect you to say all this horse shit, dude. Like, I mean, you've like said a lot of things that are really combination of either like out of touch or lead me to sometimes to think like I like you just you know what I've had like a lot of conversations here that I was not prepared to get into, but like yeah, I just bro, like they're like, would I be able to get into Israel to do all these things? Do you think it would be that I could do that very easily?
Based on your Twitter history, yeah, what the fuck do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if you went to Israel?
You think that I would be killed by the IDF? I don't know. What are you?
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you what you think, because I know that you don't know anything about this country. But yeah, I just want to see what you think. I'm just curious.
I don't think that I would be allowed into Israel to begin with.
Why not?
Because of the fact that I post things that are very like anti-government. Like I'm completely opposed to their genocide, and like I constantly call out how, you know, like what insane liars they are. I mean, like
okay, so look at my so this is, I can tell you what this, so you can look at my main channel, because this is what the security guy looked at when he was interviewing me. Like one of my videos on my main channel, like, and the more recent ones when I got there, was about traveling Israel being full of shit about the about denying the Nakba. There was another one about Netanyahu being insanely dishonest when his interview with Lex Fridman. There's a Gaza history video that's literally covered in Palestinian flags. There's a video that he would have scrolled past that was about apartheid in Israel and Palestine. So you think they don't let people in because they criticize the country?
I think that they look at you and they recognize that overall, in spite of any sort of criticisms that you might have, that you overall are like helpful to their project. That
wait, how much do you think they saw of my content? Do you mean the government or the nation as a whole? When you say their project or they get something out of it?
Yeah, I don't think that either of you would have been invited to Israel.
Who invited us?
Oh,
you don't know, dude. You don't know who invited us. You don't know how the trip started. It's probably still on one of Mere Destiny's channels. The whole trip started because we were invited by Sev. It was a Palestinian who lives in Israel was the one who spurred the idea. And then we just started to make connections from there. We just like people came in and said, "Oh, I know a guy," because everyone in that region knows a guy. That's also why we met Yishai Fletcher, who was whose father was murdered in the Kfar Qasim massacre, the Israeli-Palestinian Knesset member. That's why he was one of the interviewees. That's why we met Mustafa Barghouti, you know, a guy who is very radically against Israel. But you think like the government allowed this to happen because it benefits them? You think Israel would let someone in to interview Mustafa Barghouti?
Absolutely. After watching Destiny's interview with fucking what's his name, Ilan Levy, where the disagreements that they had were so fucking tittling, and he like basically like was just like yes-anding him the entire fucking time. Yes, I think that was their outlook on it. Whether or not you guys went into it thinking like that's exactly what you were, I don't know. I kind of think maybe you guys were like in the dark about it.
Well, you don't know, so why don't you wait? So you don't. So you don't know. So why don't you ask? Why don't you just ask some questions? It feels like
because I don't completely. Like, for one,
you think I'm going to lie?
Completely trust everything you have to say.
When have I ever lied to you, Vadim? When have I ever lied to you? Provably.
I don't know, but you say some like really crazy things when it comes to Israel, and
you can think I say things that are wrong or you disagree with, or you think I'm losing my way or whatever. When have I ever lied to you?
I don't think you've lied to me, but there's always a first time.
So why don't you ask and make up your mind? Is there surely okay? Because clearly I've had like this unique access to the fucking devil himself.
You also would not necessarily know, like I just said. I just entered into this saying like, you very well may not have gone to Israel thinking like, oh, this is how I'm perceived, and this this, that, and the other thing. But I genuinely do not believe, from everything that I have read about, they don't. There's so many there's so many investigators or rather like news people that are not allowed to certain areas and certain who I personally would fucking love to go to Israel to look at all this stuff, but I know that I would be just like most people that you and I both know in we just wouldn't be.
As an American citizen, they're probably not even going to check you. That's probably the most likely.
I was not here to debate you, and I'm not prepared to have any conversations with you right now. You've come in, you've made yourself clear about this stuff, and I still absolutely hold to the fact that I think that you really did drop the ball with your coverage with fucking Yishai Fletcher, and I don't I did not know I was going to be roped into this.
It's just that you were saying
you made a claim, so. You made a claim, so I wanted to give Lonerbox a chance to respond.
It's the fact that you said it was not far out for Hasan to believe that I was a paid Hasbara propagandist. When but my assumption was you've seen enough of this to know full well that's an insane thing. That's completely indefensible. But I guess
the reason why I said to begin with that I thought that it was not a is because we know that people are paid for that. That's just not a secret.
You haven't seen those paid propaganda. You haven't seen people who have actually done propaganda content on Israel and compared it to mine. Because if you had, you would have no fucking idea. I understand that it's you guys. I understand that to you guys, there's very to you, there's not really all that much difference between a two-state solution, a two-state solution is person and fucking Ben Gavir. But for most people, there is.
Do you realize that the reason why I said from the get-go that I don't think that that this was a paid, that you guys were paid to come here, is because, I actually do know, I have a friend who was paid, or an old friend, an ex-friend who was paid to do one of those propaganda trips. So I do know what that looks like. I don't know. That's not to say that every single one is going to look exactly the same, but I actually did not think that you were paid to do this. However, I think that it is all I was saying when I was saying that it's not crazy to think that
it is crazy.
Because no, it's not crazy.
Yes, it is.
Because
if you know anything about the conflict, it's fucking insane. Yes, if you knew anything about the conflict and you actually in good faith watched the footage that's up already, you would know. You would know full fucking well.
Do you think that people are not paid by Israel to do propaganda?
Not to do what we did. No, 100% no.
Exactly.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what I'm fucking saying, dude. I'm saying that's why I am confident in saying that I don't think yours was a paid propaganda.
But that's also why it's insane to believe it was.
But to most people, I can understand why they would assume that, and it wouldn't be necessarily this agree. Why? Because we know that that Israel does pay people for propaganda.
But you also know that they don't pay for what we did. They don't pay for people going to see people from Sheikh Jarrah or people. No, we're not going in circles. It's because you're saying something that doesn't connect. First of all, it's not insane to think that, but you're very confident saying that I wasn't paid.
I think other people, why it would be reasonable for people to assume that what you did was a paid propaganda trip. I think that they're wrong. But why? Why again? Oh my God, we're going in this fucking
Yeah, but
circle.
you're saying two things at once. One, on the one hand, you're saying you're very confident that it wasn't paid.
Look, dude, we're just gonna go. I've made myself plain about this. I'm not going to say the same thing over and over and over again. If you want to go to like one more thing that you want to get out there before we wrap this up, I'll hear one more thing out. Each thing kind of seems to take like 5 to 20 minutes. So is there anything else?
No, I think I'm fine.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, great talking to you, man. I'll speak to you another time.
Okay, bye. I wanted to talk about other things. I just can't be fucked. I just want to fucking pulling teeth. Oh my God. Oh God. Actually fucking shaheed myself. Jesus. Let's go back to watching.
There's one or two other things that I want him to come in.
You haven't seen those paid propaganda. Stop. Pay for.
Maybe you can invite him on, because I would like.
Wait, no, not here. Not here.
And I have like, just because I'm the kind of person, basically, like the overwhelming majority of the first like half or more of our conversation, I was very like prepared for. Once we got to Ethan, not so much. And I'm the kind of guy who has to like basically, because I'm fucking ADD and I sleep really terribly all the time, it really does a number on like just my ability to.
Yeah, if you want to gather more particular examples of things that you consider to be, in your words, reprehensible, then I would be fine to whatever. But
to revisit some of the things that we talked about. You know what? Bring Mutahar in here if he wants. If he has, we'll just have a very preliminary conversation, and I'll just see because hopefully I can have this conversation with him again. But is Mutahar still there?
Yeah, I can bring him in. Sure.
Yeah.
Muta, you're muted, but I brought him up.
Sorry, what's up?
Hey man, so I didn't bring you up at all. What is this about?
No. I was just asking about your thoughts on that harassment to Ethan Klein. I'm also somebody who is a somewhat decent-sized public figure that also has faced the same level of unhinged harassment. It's just weird to me that when I'm watching you talk with Hutch, it's always like, it's always interesting to me that, Ethan is like the big aggressor and, he should just kind of take it, as opposed to the people that have, covered him graciously, not even disowned the idea of like the CPS call to his house, right? Anything of that nature. Or if outright pretty much insinuated that he's been fucking, delinquent towards taking care of his children, right? Which is a pretty huge claim to make. I mean, Hutch didn't cover this, but saying that Ethan Klein is, into drugs, for instance, right? Like you do realize how that could really go against you in a court of law. Like now that the CPS has a file on you, they probably think.
Who said what about drugs? You talking about me now?
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about that Denims, Hasan-esque community on Twitter, right? That have been pushing the idea of Ethan's on drugs. He's on this cocaine. I mean, that alone can probably have to say
is in regards to. I have the same thing that I have to say to Hutch. Is that in terms of all of the harassment that he has received, some of it is totally beyond the pale, and I don't like. I'm
okay, but if somebody involved the CPS on my family,
everybody, whether you're a piece of shit or you're a great guy on YouTube, I assign it.
What do you mean? Am I a piece of shit or a great guy on YouTube? What?
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm saying that regardless of one's character, I think that people should be treated the same. But when it comes to Ethan, it's just not even comparable. The amount of targeted harassment that he and his community has done to others compared to what he has received, and there's just an insane.
Yeah, but where did it begin? What is the timeline? I'm sure you're familiar with the timeline. Where did it begin? Was it him initiating it, or was it him unfollowing somebody from that community that started to, you know, push the snowball initially?
How things started is just like I think like a. Really
I mean, I think how things begin is important,
that's a
right?
really reductive and like baby brain way to look at things.
How things begin is how you can understand the context of where things have led up to.
Well, at the beginning of things, he was also putting out stuff out there that people legitimately had good reason to think was. I mean, it was Islamophobic stuff. Some of the things that he said. Now, I kind of.
What was Islamophobic?
Like his reaction to fucking the
come on, what was
from the river to the sea?
Yeah, I mean that thing.
Fucking hell, how is that
so weird about it? I'm a
Islamophobic?
Muslim, by the way, too, a practicing one, a pretty devout Muslim.
I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like
it's funny because everyone in this community of yours calls me an Uncle Tom. So
when did I call you an Uncle Tom?
Not you, but from that community, that denim sided community. I'm just some weird Uncle Tom. That's a weird Zionist. My wife's a Nazi, so you know. You can imagine why I'm a little heated about this.
Well, you got to let me. If you ask me a question, you got to let me.
Sure. Okay. Answer.
So when it comes to from the river to the sea, that is absolutely a very benign call for peace.
Is it a benign call?
It's not a call for peace. Oh my God.
Right now, we are at a place where and actually we were at this place from the beginning where like people like the ADL and fucking Stop Anti-Semitism and whatnot, they are talking about just saying free Palestine in itself is this like call to like I think fucking Netanyahu said it as well, said that it's basically like the new Heil Hitler. Well, the same people who are obsessing and kind of like trying to like what's the word, tone police people with the whole from the river to the sea thing. It's the same thing. It's just kind of like basically people draw a line at they will mistake something that is totally 100% like just a well maybe like
a benign call for peace.
Like I understand the I'm sorry, I'm getting a little like a little cracked out here. Sorry, I'm but my point is that it is there's nothing wrong with that. And
a benign call for peace.
Okay, but do you agree that things have context, right? You do agree that
I've never talked on stream this long, and so
that's fair.
I mean, but you understand context.
Can I just say this real quick, Mutahar? If I continue to kind of like because there is a point sometimes where I just like tap out of conversations and meaning like I cannot have like I just start stuttering like that.
A benign call for peace.
If that's the way it's going to be for me, like we'll talk a little bit longer. But if that's the way it is for me, I'm going to have to bow out, and I'd love to talk to you again in the future.
Actually,
can we do that? If like I kind of if that's the case, because I want to have this conversation when I am capable of like giving you.
I mean, I just don't know what conversation we could really have. It's like, okay, I asked you, it's like, what does context make any sense? You brought up to the river to the sea, right? Like, yeah, I mean, sure, obviously one could.
I'm saying that's one thing where.
Okay, well, let's focus on that one thing. Let's just focus on that one thing really quickly, okay? From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Now, I have personally never been against the freedom of Palestinians. In fact, if you ask me, I think that as Hamas is a designated terror organization, and I believe they should be, as should the IDF. As a Canadian, I don't know why we don't designate both of them. That makes no sense to me. The IDF has done far more in aggression to the Palestinian people in this response to whatever they want to call it, counterterrorism or fighting against the Hamas individuals. It makes no fucking sense to me. But let's be real. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Where does this chant originate? Who is kind of pushing this, right? If we're looking at the broader context if we're looking at the broader context,
Jewish Voice for Peace.
Jewish Voice for Peace. Hey,
basically what you're doing.
Get your Jews up. Get the human shields. Get them. Get all the Jews. Get all the Jewish shields.
Wait, but hold on.
Definitely not the people who spearhead it. Definitely not that.
I let you speak. I let you speak. What is this? What does this phrase mean? Does it mean the complete like disestablishment of the Israeli people? Where are those Jews going to go? What's going to happen to
It
them?
means, dude, it means that from the river to the sea, that Palestine will be free. That's free for everybody. That's that's like.
Now, what about the history of Jews in that area, Middle Eastern Jews? How about how have they been dealing? How have they been dealt with in Islamic countries? Have they felt the same freedoms?
Look. This conversation is the exact same as fucking like white just like.
By the way, this is a phrase that the Norm Fickle scene was
who have a
criticized.
problem with Black Lives Matter, thinking that, Black Lives Matter is
going to take away from whites.
No, it's exactly that. And
it's not even equivalent at all. We're not looking at the broader context of anything. We're not looking at the broader context of
what
this.
you're doing. Literally,
if you dissolve the Jewish
Mutahar's not equipped for this. Mutahar's not equipped for this.
Okay, Mutahar. Every person.
There's one question. There's one question. Where's Mutahar?
Genuinely an activist on behalf of Palestine. People who are not just activists, but extremely influential voices, like your Avi Schleims, like all of you name it. If you talk about someone who is central to who is a voice who is out there, either in America or beyond, who is advocating for the cause, they are using that term. So what you are doing is that you are saying all these people who are, there's no fucking way that you can tell me that these people are like actually trying to like suck Hamas's dick or whatever.
Yeah.
That the entire pretty much the entire the entire sorry, this is like where my brain is kind of tapping out. But
I think what Mutahar
is doing it, the entire movement is doing it wrong. But you've got it right. But these people who have all these
you guys have, this movement has fucking failed at every objective that they've had since the dawn of time. I don't know what. Yeah, it's probably time we got to change this shit.
No. Do you think that the people online on like the Hasan side are the entire movement? Do you think like anytime we criticize people for having shitty?
I'm saying. Like if you go to there's not a rally that you'd go to from Europe to Australia to South America to here that you will not see versions of that.
Okay, so what is your end goal with this? What is your end goal with this? What do you want?
It's an incredible.
What do you want? What do you want to happen in the Middle East right now? What do you want? What is your perfect goal? What do you want to happen? Should the Israeli government completely dissolve its border?
I did not know that this is like so like going all over the place. I thought that you were.
Bro, I'm asking you what the solution is. Do you want the government to be dissolved in Israel? Do you want their borders to be gone, the government gone, all of it just suddenly become Palestine? Do you want that to be?
I want whatever elements of the Israeli government that kind of whatever elements of the Israeli government that kind of enforce. You know what, dude? Like,
he doesn't know what he wants. Like, he doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know what he wants for the conflict.
How many wars has Israel went against with Arab countries?
He doesn't know what he wants for the conflict. How can you not know? This is what you've been talking about for 20 months. It's your entire fucking identity on Twitter. You don't even know what you want. You don't even know what you want to happen. Oh my god. It's all about, as I keep telling you guys, it's not about helping Palestinians. It's about shitting on Israel. That's it. And people think that by shitting on Israel, they're helping Palestinians. They're not. He doesn't even know what he fucking wants. He doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know what he wants to happen to the... Sorry.
Totally have. Let's pick up this conversation another time.
What pick up the conversation? You're not answering the most basic question. What is your goal? Like, okay, if you believe in this cause so much, what is your solution?
I'm not. Look, dude.
How can you not know what he wants? Oh my god.
I'm someone who has. Like, I've been battling a fucked up sleep.
You know what my solution is? Do you know what my solution is? I can answer this right off. Why? Oh, so you don't care about solutions. You don't care about the solution? My solution is I think Muslim countries that have the capacity to deal with it should entertain working with the Israeli government and dealing with these actions.
Now he's
dealing with the...
As soon as we're not talking about...
with that parties, making it safer.
Look, dude. This is serious, okay?
As soon as we're not talking about what Vadim wants, he gets his words back. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah, I know it's serious. There's people dying. This is not a game to me, okay? There are children, there are fucking men, there are women dying. That is a serious case to me. I don't fucking hear any solutions from your side.
Again, if you want to talk to me, because you're just taking a really, compared to the bullshit that you put out on the internet, the sort
what is the most popular Palestinian faction that says from the river to the sea? What is the most popular faction that says that? Tell me.
Where do you get that question from? What's the most popular faction that says river to the sea? Oh, that's a good question, Mutahar. It's Hamas, by the way.
Is the most popular faction in the Middle East, in Palestine, that says from the river to the sea.
About this shit when I am like...
Good question,
You should have a
Mutahar.
basic understanding. I'm a fucking computer engineer. You gotta still know. What is the most popular faction in Palestine that says from the river to the sea?
Bro, we're done.
What is the most popular?
I told you.
What is the most popular faction?
It's a good question. That's a really good question. It's a strong one.
I'm the asshole.
It's my guy. Yeah.
What is it?
I told you. I went into this, you fucking idiot.
What is...
I went into this saying that I had already reached a point of kind of exhaustion. And the thing is that, like, that's a real thing with me. Because
I work for a living. You think I'm not exhausted either? What the fuck?
Dude,
what is the most popular Palestinian faction that says from the river to the sea?
Can you just fucking terminate this so I can explain? Like, if you want to talk another time,
terminate him. Terminate this Muslim.
When I'm like, you can't answer the most basic questions. What the fuck do you think I'm gonna waste my time talking?
When I am someone who has like
it's Hamas, by the way. It's Hamas, by the way. That's the answer. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard. So
what does Hamas mean when they say it?
Hutch, what
you've seen their flag.
Can you terminate this?
Asking a basic.
Listen, I don't want to force the conversation if it doesn't. If both parties don't want to.
Fucking obliterated.
I'm more than happy to talk to you another time, Mutahar. But the thing is that I have to do it when like I have like.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask you. Before we end this, obviously you're tired. Do you think I was asking you a really difficult question there? Do you think I was trying to do a gotcha to you? Do you honestly
I don't
think
even
so?
know what question you're talking about because I was speaking.
Okay. Hold on. Can you listen to my question? Just in peace. I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna say it very slowly.
All right. Go ahead. I'll chill out. And
ready?
Say my
all right. Let's redo it. Let's bring it on. Okay. What is the most popular Palestinian faction currently that says from the river to the sea?
Okay, it is not Hamas. Like people all over the fucking earth say that, and like so.
But it matters what the people in the region think.
I didn't say the world.
Stop this bullshit of continuing to ram through. I shouldn't have even started this to begin with. This is what I have to say. Okay, I genuinely have health issues, okay? Like health issues.
I do too, bro. It's part of life.
That make talking at this length. I thought that this was going to be a like 2 to 3 hour conversation with Hutch, which I was prepared to talk about.
To be fair,
and this is the thing. What we're talking about is very important, and I'm not going to have a conversation. I am not in a place where I can do the conversation we're having.
We can pick it. We can listen. You haven't eaten any food. I get it. I'm fucking hungry too. We can pick this conversation up another time. I didn't want to force anything. I did ask you for permission if you wanted to speak to both people. I didn't mean to dump anything on you. Just to be clear. But like, if you want to break and call it there, we can do that.
Totally fine. I asked you to bring him in. By the way. So like I'm not saying that you like I don't think that you were kind of I don't know, like, just being a dick by letting these people in. I said, let's go ahead and do it. But
let's just pick it up another time.
Conversation that I had with Mutahar and other things. I mean, it's exactly like I was telling you. In general, I should have just kind of like ducked out after about like 4 hours because like
they've been talking for 4 hours. Holy shit!
It's okay. Let's call it there. Let's both go get some food. It's all good,
so
and we can pick.
I will talk about Ethan at another point in time.
Okay.
And if Mutahar wants to have a conversation about that, I will resume it with him at a time when my brain is not like just.
I got you. I understand.
It's Swiss cheese.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Muta, I don't know if you wanted to stick around and talk a little bit longer, but yeah, it's fine.
I just think it's insane. Like, okay, I asked the most basic questions. I gotta dip out, bro. I'm easy to dunk on Twitter. I've seen you try to do that to me. I've seen you fucking like actually have a conversation. I ask one simple question, and now it's like delay it. Like, what the fuck, dude? This is why nobody takes this fucking side seriously at all. Like, honest to God, this whole thing is a fucking clown show.
Dude.
What?
Do you like obviously this is like you just a moment ago were talking about how important this situation is. I want to have a conversation of this gravity.
Do you think I would have a better time talking to you or a brick wall? Honestly, do you think I'd have a better conversation with you or ChatGPT?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Honest to God, I think I would probably have a better chance talking to ChatGPT.
Oh my God!
I think talking to you is like talking to a fucking child.
So now you're ducking out. Okay, so am I right?
Oh, you're running. Tell me he's running.
Ducking out, really? Am I ducking out?
Conversation with me. me.
Bro, you
when I'm
haven't
prepared,
presented yourself.
when
You haven't
I'm
presented.
actually not in,
I
like,
didn't
these-
ask you an unprepared question. I'm just saying this is not worth my time. Okay, maybe if you were like a Hasan Piker, I might consider it. But honestly, this is just such a waste. Like, you're not doing anything to really fucking. You're not bringing the intellectual like capacity here. You know. Like at all.
That's why I'm saying that I can't fucking talk right now. If that's why I want to talk to you at another time, because I would be able to bring that. I am not having this conversation with you because I can't bring that.
So hold
right
on,
now,
hold on. I have a
because
bit of time out of my day. I talk to you and then you duck out, and now I have to be fucking pursuant to this conversation later.
I
Really?
said, dude, I said to you from the beginning, I will continue this. Like before you even fucking came in, you like dipshit, you manipulative asshole. I said,
I'm manipulative. What did I do? Wait, hold on. What did I do?
Bring you in, but that like I
Jesus
probably
Christ.
was tapped out, and that I
My
would not.
God,
and,
you're
and
like
then,
a
and then when you
fucking
got
woman,
here,
dude.
then when you
A
fucking
woman?
got
Oh,
here,
no.
I said like, look,
Not a woman.
If this is the way that it goes,
Not
I'm gonna
a woman. I'm sorry.
How long have you been talking about Israel and Palestine for before me? Was it, how many months was it? How many months were you talking about this?
Oh no.
Like from the get-go, dude. Like,
Okay, so from the get-go, but you can't spend an extra 20 minutes talking to me on those basic questions
no,
when you get
because
caught up
again,
with me?
I like want to talk. What you want to do here is that you want a conversation when my brain.
I asked you basic questions and you couldn't answer
advantage
that.
of that. You already have
Taken
But
advantage?
If you yes, like I've told you.
Man, I'm sorry. I asked you a basic question. That's taking advantage.
Dude, do you like actually like understand that sometimes people like I have a disability.
I understand when people are disingenuous like you, and when they're caught in lies, they have to stammer like bitches and then fucking back out of a conversation. That's what I understand. I understand when somebody can't understand the word retraction.
You don't know shit.
When you don't understand, when you don't know the definition of what a retraction is, I can figure out your intellectual capacity
on this
there.
guy, dude, and so I can so I can say. Go fuck yourself,
get
dude.
this Muslim out.
Like if you want to have a conversation with me at a time when I'm prepared to have it, you'll fucking lose. I promise. All right,
He's gonna take him to task.
The Jedi mind tricks. I'm so fucking scared of them. Ooh.
Let's just call a hard out. Vadim, it's all good. Go get some food.
I'm gonna say something. I need you to get rid of it, and then I'm gonna say something, and then we'll do that.
Yeah, Hutch. Don't worry, Hutch. I'll leave. Okay, he needs the hug box. Okay.
All right.
I'll leave.
I'll talk to you later, Motor.
Having me on, brother.
All right. Yeah, let's give you the final. We need to get some food in you, brother, because
yeah. No.
Hutch is much more.
To be clear, I just want to say I'm conscious about like not bringing shit on people. I was very deliberate when I asked you to bring people on. I would not have insisted. If you said no, I would have been fine.
A lot of things that you said over the course of this conversation.
Literally,
zero problem with you bringing those people in.
Okay. All right.
Those bastards.
I asked for it. I know that it kind of like probably like looked really fucking bad because my brain is like spent. But like I just want to say this, like when it comes to like what Mutahar. Like I don't know. I should not have like allowed the guy in because it was just like.
Man, I actually feel bad for
my
him.
point is that I get really frazzled
because
when
it's like
I am. If you go to my to my YouTube page, you can see I have multiple videos. In fact, the last video that I did was like 2 years ago, talking about an insane, like it's not really even a sleep problem. It's kind of like a cross between insomnia and like I get God.
Do you have insurance? Do you have insurance?
I can't talk.
You have insurance?
Yeah, I do, but it hasn't been helpful. Like
that would be sleep aids to help you with that.
Difficult time getting it.
I just don't know why you would engage in this. If you have these problems, I don't know why you would engage in this space. Like it's such a toxic, fucking like on your toes environment. But I don't know.
It's been like 20 years, and I have like it's not actual seizures, but it's like they feel like sort of like seizures. It's basically like.
Ask your doctor about Seroquel, man, because I take a drug called Seroquel, and that shit will knock you the fuck out. And I'm not a drug licensed pharmacist, disclaimer, but yeah.
I've tried everything, including Seroquel. Lunesta is what I take.
The thing is, it's funny that like the sleep problem was a big fucking issue when he was trying to answer the question of what he wants the Israeli government to do. But as soon as Mutahar started calling him an asshole, he woke the fuck up and suddenly found all his words. Like that's so bizarre, man. Yeah.
It only helps like a certain amount, but the point is that I get, I mean, like,
I got you. Here, let's pick it up.
This is the last thing that I want to say.
Okay.
As poorly as I was functioning through certain portions of this discussion, I have days where, like, I can barely string a sentence together.
Okay.
So so this is the last thing that I'm going to say. The reason why I would not have that conversation with Mutahar, he's like trying to make it sound like I was like some sort of like fucking
strong boys.
About to use the R slur, but I don't like using that word. It literally is that I do not want to have conversations like this that are important when I know that I can't do justice to those conversations.
Bro.
As it stands, I'm sure that there's shit that's going to be clipped out of this that is the reason why I try not to do that stuff. But that's exactly why I was ducking out at the time I did, and I would love to have a conversation about him.
Someone oh, hello?
Oh, hello. Hey.
Hey, man.
I think we were just a bit behind, but it seemed like he was saying bye for a while.
Yeah. We wrapped up. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have some more thoughts, or?
I don't know. I just wanted to jump in on the river to the sea shit, but it's okay. I think we.
I mean, yeah. You know a lot about. Talk about that. What are your thoughts?
It's like, when Western activists say it, they're envisioning like a one state where both groups have equal rights, and it's like post-apartheid South Africa, and they get along and they have coffee together and shit like that. But it's like, no one in the region wants this. No one. It's like, you can look at polls. I can show you polls that will say like less than 10% of Palestinians want this. They'd rather a state where Jews have unequal rights, and Jews would rather a one state where Arabs have equal rights, as opposed to
unequal.
A democratic one state. Yeah. So, and obviously it's their opinions that matter, right? Same with river to the sea. So when people say from the river to the sea, like, yeah, you might be meaning a peaceful, like harmonious one state solution, but if you're Israeli and if you're Jewish, like, and you have connections to Israel, you're going to think about the people in the region who say that. And the people in the region who say that do not mean one state for two people. They mean one state for the Palestinians, and the Jews go into the sea or live as second-class citizens. So it's
what I hear a lot. Tell me if you agree. But what I hear a lot is the common retort that I hear is something like, "Oh, you just think that these are like barbarian, savage Arabs who are just naturally racist and violent, and therefore, they can't get along." But that's not what it is. It's just a historical context of a struggle that's been going on for over 100 years at this point, and there's like plenty of historical context to be extremely skeptical of the notion that Palestinians and Israelis can share a single state and it will just be, I guess, like a liberal democracy? Like, who's going to be in charge of that state? Like right now, the number one representative for Palestinians is Hamas. Like, are they going to be in charge? Like what does that actually look like in practice? And when you try to dissect that and dive into what it actually looks like, it just completely falls apart. That's why people like Nelson Mandela understood, like, he was not pushing for a one-state solution. Like, he understood that the Israeli state wasn't going anywhere, and the best option would be to, live as neighbors, not actually share a state. But there's
isn't this just a white supremacy of like fearing equality, Hutch? Like the whites in South Africa, even though but unfortunately, like anti-white racism is not a valid concern so much as anti-Semitism is. Like, these are not equally valid concerns. Like, why would a leftist ever suggest that they are? It's insane. But it's just like it's just the thing that I don't get about it is like you might as well be saying that in the last 100 years, Palestine will be the first Arab/Muslim country that treats its Jewish minority well, as equals or safely. Like, they'll be the first ones. It's like, I'm sorry. It's just, Palestinians have more of an excuse to be anti-Semitic than anyone else in the fucking world. They're not going to be the first ones to treat a Jewish minority equally. But I don't know. It's just mental. I also found it.
I just wanted. Yeah, go ahead.
I just found it very, very telling that as soon as he was asked what he wants the Israeli government to actually do right now in terms of the conflict, he got stuck.
Yeah.
It's so funny that after like 20 months of talking about this, and Hasan was the same when Ethan asked them, they don't actually know what they want the Israelis to do. They don't know what they want to happen. It's just so bizarre.
Well, Hasan stated what he wants is, he said that Israel should dissolve its own government and, absorb the West Bank and Gaza, and it would just be one state, full right of return.
Yeah,
and
like
then,
on October 8th. Yeah, it's like, but I just think it's so telling that like the hesitate, because like Vadim's like, I guess like he had like a sleep issue when he was asked that question, but then when people started insulting him, he suddenly found his words again. So it's like, I just find it, I'm kind of noticing this more and more, and I've never really thought about it in this way, but I kind of noticed that I've always hated this, are you pro-Palestine or pro-Israel? Because to me, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like pro-Israel, people who generally get labeled as pro-Israel are people who even want a Palestinian state to exist. And if you go to Israel, even supporting a two-state solution, like most Israeli right-wingers, which is most of the population right now, they think that's like treachery. They think that you might as well be destroying the Jewish state, by making them vulnerable, by giving the West Bank sovereignty, right? So that's like, it's just very telling that, and the same with being pro-Palestinian, like what does that mean? Because apparently two states isn't pro-Palestinian. Apparently like being anti-Hamas might not even be pro-Palestinian because people say that you have to support all the resistance groups. So that's why I've never really identified with either of those those labels. But when people talk about like the pro-Palestine movement, the thing I've noticed about them more and more is that it's not really about helping Palestinians. Like for most of these guys, it's just about attacking Israel. Like I feel like they're very, very good at shitting on Israel and shitting on anyone who they think is even marginally friendly to Israel. But in terms of what they want that would actually help Palestinians that's realistic in the moment, they have nothing, And I think there's like that's why they like the Houthis and what they did. What did the Houthis do for Gaza? Nothing. They did, they bankrupted a port in Eilat. And that's somehow an achievement. It's like, well, hurting Israel doesn't necessarily, you can hurt Israel as much as you want and Palestinians can reap no benefits at all. You can do what people celebrating when fucking Trump was, what do you call it? When he was snubbing Netanyahu. It's like, well, yeah, okay, he's annoying Israel, but he could annoy Israel today and then fuck Palestine twice as hard tomorrow. But for some reason, I think people just view it in this like destructive manner that it is just automatically assuming a zero-sum game that doesn't actually exist. Like you can shit on Israel all you want, but like that doesn't necessarily translate to helping Palestinians at all.
It's about, I think it's about just the constant friction. Like I think some people are just kind of addicted to, or they sort of shape their identity around like a constant state of tension and friction with what they perceive to be like, the major power players. So it's like in their minds, they have these noble intentions and these virtuous goals, and they're, standing up to power and they're challenging power. But when the rubber hits the road and you actually ask these people like what, and this applies to so many different things. Like I was having an immigration debate a few days ago with someone who was saying some pretty outrageous things that sort of like clammed up when you actually ask them like, okay, let's do your system. Like, what does it actually look like? I think like a lot of these people really struggle to articulate a coherent, practical solution. And they just settle on what they think is like the most moral solution. So like, eliminating police and prisons and things like that. Like it sounds like the moral thing to do. If you have this ideology that's centered around just like constantly rejecting like state power or whatever. And it's the same thing with this, like, like what does it actually look like when you force these two people to live under one country? It doesn't look
right.
Like
it's like a common rule, right? Like it's all destructive. It's like when you ask about housing, it's like they're very quick to say, get rid of the landlords and take their property or maybe even kill them. But it's like, okay, what housing system do you want to replace
eat the landlords, thank you.
Yeah, all right. But then it's like, okay, what system do you want to replace it? Then it's like what model, like what studies or like what examples do you want to? It's just there's nothing,
I just wanted to touch upon the thing that like I said, like you're picking up on it, Leonard, where it's like these people don't really have a solution when they're pressed, and it's like, look, I don't have a solution either. I tried to present one the best way that I could in that like debate, I guess, with him, where I was like, maybe we need to get like the surrounding Islamic countries involved, maybe have some normalization, some cooperation in military like action against the bad actors, right? Like people like Hamas, because I really think that an organization like that is what makes it so stinky to align with the pro-Palestinian side, because it'll always be used as a crutch against the Palestinian people, because like without an organization like that would just be responsible for attacking Israel constantly, it's like you wouldn't really be able to have the enemy or the justification to constantly be the most insane. Like the IDF wouldn't have the justification, I would say, to constantly be, attacking the Palestinian people that way. That's just what I think, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like it's not a perfect solution either, but at least it's thinking towards something, right? Versus stammering when asked about what the government should do. I don't know. I feel like after 20 months, there would have been something, especially, given by these people at this side.
Muta, can you just describe, because you barely talk about politics, and I think you did one video, and you were sort of the talk of the town in leftist spaces for, a couple weeks there. What did that actually look like when you picked up your phone and looked at your social channels? Like, how did that manifest?
I mean, my social channels were messy because it was like, oh, you're a genocide supporter, you're yada yada yada. But I actually stopped going to my mosque because of it. Like, I stopped going to my primary place of worship just because it was not. I don't know. You start getting weird looks or community, because there's a lot of young kids who had already known that I was a content creator. And so, when they start looking at me being painted as a guy that's against Muslims, it's not a welcome place anymore. So that to me was probably one of the biggest hits that I've ever had on a real mental level. It's to the point where I'll be real. I had one of those crisis of faith moment where I was like, man, I don't even know if I should even be part of this faith, but I don't know. My wife's great. She kept me in the loop. She kept me in the head. But yeah, it wasn't good. It was it's funny because, I'm somebody that wants the ultimate peace. And when I made that video, I made a pretty evident point and said, this conflict between Judaism and Islam is not something that is even one-sided. If you go and look at the most conservative parts of Islam, as you look at the most conservative parts of Jews, and I'm sure Lonerbox knows exactly what I'm talking about, there is a great amount of, there's a great amount of hatred that both sides really do have. And I've always just said, it's the only way to get past this is if we find a way to get past this, hundreds of years of holy war that we've had. Because if we can't get past that one simple, I'm sorry to say that, if we can't get past that one point, then we will never, ever see peace in the Middle East, especially between these two people who should just be brothers and sisters in their Abrahamic faith, but they're not. But yeah, I'm sorry, I pivoted a lot there, but generally speaking, the biggest pain for this has been in my personal and private life. I'll be real, I have moved away from mom and dad. I don't really even see them as much anymore just because the unhinged shit on social media, I don't want any of my family associated with that at all, anyone. So I've kept them deliberately away. I live in I live 2 cities over at this point. So
yeah.
Not
I've been doing internet stuff for 16 years, and I've sparred with toxic gamers and MAGA and just all types of different people. Mm-hmm. And just a couple of weeks ago, they were passing around a clip from me, and they were lying about what I was saying. They were telling there was these big left-wing channels that get pretty good engagement, and just all in one day they started posting this one clip, and they were claiming that I said that I approve of every time that Israel has ever hit a hospital, and it was just a lie. And the torrent that I got was enough for me to it takes a lot to upset me after 16 years, but that was for a few days, I was definitely pretty black-pilled. This crowd, if you don't go along with their dogma, if you don't go along with their very specific solutions that they propose, which are oftentimes, I think, totally incoherent, if you challenge that in any way, they are just as vicious as the worst MAGA crowds for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where the thing that I think he said it earlier too, when it came to the harassment, you brought up the fact that he brought up Quartering and Keemstar, and a lot of these people are friendly with him, right, or whatever, and it's just one of those things where it's even in an optics situation, right? If you're coming across as the most unhinged, we will not condone the tiniest bit of harassment, but the other side, who's probably, let's be honest, feigning their fucking care. But at least in the public sense, they do care. They show empathy, which these people are not able to do. What is the normal person going to look at both sides and think, wow, which one is the more sane group of people? Is it the fucking right-wing MAGA types that are saying, oh my God, you shouldn't have had CPS called to your house, versus the people that are just laughing about it like it's nothing, I mean, it's insane. These people don't understand that their internet, this is beyond the internet at this point, right? You said it great. When the CPS was involved, that's a file on record, right? It's when the cops show up to your house for a domestic, you're on the fucking system forever, buddy. Good luck getting rid of that. So it's just, these people don't, it's just insane to me that this is the discourse and the hoops they jumped through to not condemn just the slightest problem is what I don't understand. And that's going to be the reason why none of these people build any bridges or inroads in any community or any action they do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that was what kicked it off with Ethan. He was alarmed that like he just couldn't get his podcast co-host to condemn stuff that was just so clearly unhinged. Like that was the genesis of their like big split, was this guy Second Thought, who was like literally saying that there were baby settlers, like literally like babies or
well, it was saying that
military
he said that every Israeli civilian was a military target. Like there's no such thing as an Israeli civilian.
Yeah.
Which I think, yeah, it's like for all the clips that they ever find of people like you or me or Mutahar, it's like literally this other side thinks it's acceptable, or even an acceptable disagreement if they don't go that far, but still like, well, we still like them. We just don't think that one is like quite there. But that's like calling 7 million Jews military targets. It's fucking mental. It's like half the world's Jews. Just like you can kill them.
Like,
it's crazy.
It's like,
it's insane. And that's just normal
it's like,
to those
look,
guys.
you know, there might have been one point where we could have probably been like, okay, maybe we should like control Z, like the whole Israel thing, right? Like when it was first made, maybe you could have done that. But when you have decades upon decades of history and like, you know, there's people that are now being born into the country for generations, how do you like undo that? You know, like I asked him a blatant question, like, what would be your future? Is it going to be like the country dissolves its borders? And then he didn't have an answer for that. I was like, he wanted it to be completely free for Palestinians, and I'm like, but what about the Jews that live there? What about the tons of Jews that moved from Islamic countries and they face persecution, right? It's like there's no answer to that. And anytime you bring this shit up, it's always like they ignore what you said, like blatantly. Like I remember when it was Hasan, and he was talking about like how I think it was Iraq that had like the right to return law. But then Lonerbox, you were just like, did you read the law? Because it explicitly says Jews aren't allowed. So it's like, how are you not going to engage in this in a good faith manner and like try to at least see that this pain that is being caused, you know, there's a history to it. There's levels of hate. Like I asked him, like, how many times has Israel and or like Arab countries been at war? Because this discontent didn't start out of nowhere. The land grabs didn't start out of nowhere. And correct me if I'm wrong, Lonerbox. I don't know entirely the history on this stuff, one-to-one. But the land grab started because of the Israeli-Arab conflicts, like the wars, and then the Arabs lost and the Israelis gained ground, which is something that happens in a war, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't understand. It's like these people, like they completely ignore the context of what has happened. And it's like, and you know what? I'm not here to relitigate the past. I'm here to look to the future. So it's like, what do we do in the present to clean things up in the region and prevent more children, men and women dying? Because for me, it's like, I'm not going to sit here and like pussyfoot around the definition of a genocide. It is a genocide, in my opinion, right? When people are systemically dying, when people are dying outright constantly, and there is just a death toll that keeps piling up, when there is a October 7th or a 9/11, as some people say, every single day in that region, I don't take that lightly. So what do we do going forward? That's my fucking goal. That's where I want to reach with the discourse. Because I don't think arguing like this about it and these people fucking turning Ethan Klein into like the lightning rod for this whole situation is the answer at all.
I mean, it is like there is a whole thing like I don't know if people call it like the narcissism of small differences or whatever, but the fact that like Ethan actually, if he was in Israel, they'd call him a traitor. Like most of them would call him a traitor for saying that settlers are military targets, for calling it genocide, for supporting like even some forms of BDS, for even saying that there were some actions the Houthis could do in the Red Sea that would be justified. It's like, yeah, that would get you beaten up by in some parts of Israel, or maybe even killed. So it's just like, it's just kind of weird that like, it's quite bizarre to think that like, but I guess that is quite a common thing for those types. Is like, I feel like if people like Ethan or me or anyone else just went like full right-wing Kahanists, we'd probably get left alone, right? It's just that I just find it so bizarre. I find it so bizarre that like that was the lightning rod of their attention when apparently in the middle of a genocide, you know, like you think your priorities.
It's like there are tons of people that spread actual anti-Semitism. Like I think it was Aunt Candace Owens who was like fucking bringing up the Jews and dinosaurs. There's tons of people that fucking do not like. There's tons of people that are vapid IDF supporters, right? Like I'm sure if you go onto like Twitter or like any fucking shithole like social media, you'll find tons of people. It's like, yeah, squad wiping, dude. Go ahead, IDF. Fucking. They would say the most unhinged shit. But it's like, why are you going after Ethan Klein? Where it's like, as somebody that has Israeli like citizenship alongside American, has been the most conceding person in this entire situation, right? Like, And this goes beyond like public stuff. Like even privately, when I've talked to Ethan, it's like he really genuinely does care a lot about the Palestinian people, him and Hila. Like I don't see any like any like vitriol from them against a group of people. So it's like, why target people that give a shit? All right, and concede ground versus people that just don't. People that are far larger in the political sphere and people that spread really dangerous like Hasbara, as they would want to call it, right? Like the propaganda for the Israelis.
Yeah, they had to invent a fiction about him, to make him their villain. Because to Lonerbox's point, I mean, he was like the day after October 7th was speaking to the plight of Palestinians, addressing their suffering and their trauma, and what they've been forced to endure for decades. Like he went so far in his rhetoric, like way farther than I thought he would go. I mean, he called it a genocide really early on, but because he, as a Jewish man who had dual citizenship, started to see some really alarming rhetoric, like he felt like unnerved by that or upset by that. And when he tried to address that, they accused him of like centering the conflict around himself and distracting from the real problem. So even if they're not like intentionally being anti-Semitic, you're kind of like walking right up to the line of anti-Semitism if you're telling like a Jewish man like, oh, you're just being crazy. Like you have no reason to be concerned. You're just blowing this out of proportion. In fact, you're making this about yourself. It's actually kind of narcissistic. You're kind of crazy. Are you on drugs? It just escalates and escalates, you know? And it was, it's in my opinion, they fumbled. You know, you have this dual citizen who is willing to condemn Netanyahu the way that he was, and they just ripped him to shreds over, you know, what ultimately amounted to minor differences. You know,
the thing is, like, I tried to explain this to Ethan as well, though. But it's like, well, first of all, I don't think the differences are all that minor, like, because these other guys support fucking terrorism.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
yes.
but it's also just like, the way I tried to explain it to Ethan before was just like, it was never about a lack of empathy for Palestinians. It was about a lack of appropriate hatred for Israel. And it's all like, that's why I think there's a distinction between these people who call themselves pro-Palestine and actually supporting Palestinians. Because if these guys were pro-Palestinian, why the fuck did they not support the anti-Hamas protesters? Like half of Gaza does. We know that if they got their way, then there would be a lot less, we wouldn't have had the fucking airstrikes that have been going on for the last couple of weeks, or even months, because they started in like March, I think. You notice that whole movement has taken place under like an iron boot, basically. Like the fact that they're protesting at all is like insane. And those people who call themselves the pro-Palestine movement just don't talk about them. They're not interested in them, which is quite strange, because you would think that those people like rising up against the people who they now blame for getting them into that situation in the first place would be a really big deal, but they don't care because, again, that's not the narrative. That might be Palestinian people who are out there protesting against Hamas, but that's not like the pro-Palestine narrative. Like these are two different things. Like what, and I can predict this right now as well, like with a lot of these like Western pro-Palestine activists, is like the people in Gaza will turn on Hamas faster than the people in the West will. Like that's going to happen. It's already kind of happened so far. And I think that's probably why you have this issue right now where you have like probably one of the most popular social movements in the world since BLM, and they've achieved absolutely nothing. Like they can raise money for UNRWA and things like that every now and then, which is great. But like besides that, for all the toxicity and the vitriol that goes along with it, like you'd think there'd be a lot more to show for it, but there's nothing. Like maybe a few more people will set themselves on fire, maybe a couple more shootings will happen, but that's all they're going to achieve because they haven't really focused anything on what they want as a positive outcome. It's all just about like, who do you hate appropriately and how much are you willing to toe a certain narrative, like a failed narrative.
That was Noah's logic when he said the protests haven't worked. And so we have, in his words, he said, we are in close physical proximity with these creators and politicians who support the genocide.
Yeah, what the fuck's that going to do? What, if you shoot like a Republican? Okay.
Right.
I mean, if anything, all that violence just leads to you guys looking like, it just leads to the movement looking terrible, right? I mean, we just saw that happen with the Israeli embassy stuff, right? Like, none of the violence is going to solve anything. Like, coming to my house and shooting me, like, if Noah was, like, implying that, I don't know if he was or not, you know, allegedly.
He was 100%. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, you know, legally speaking, of course.
Did you see him? Did you see him talking about the people who died because someone called them peace activists or the pro-peace? And he said,
I know he giggled at it. He
and then he followed up by saying, "Yeah, I think it's we need to escalate. Protesting is not enough." So it's like Jesus. Yeah.
it's just, you know, like, and for my personal growth, like as a Muslim person who was, well, born back home, but I was very raised over here, you know, post 9/11, things were definitely a little bit, you know, kind of hairy for Muslims growing up in North America. So it's like, when I see these like Hasan types who are just like kind of like cheering on and like treating these people as resistance groups, like these people that have besmirched, you know, like I would say Muslims around the world, it's just, it feels like there's a regression, you know, it feels like we're going to take a step back socially. We're gonna get back into that fucking like pile of hate and division, and all of the progress that we've made since 2001 is just going to be reversed. Like that's what I personally feel is going to happen, and it's disgusting to see, right? Like it's like all the efforts that I have done as an immigrant in this country is slowly just being reversed. You know, when you've got, Hutch, let me tell you the most insane shit. When you've got people in this camp going up and calling my wife a neo-Nazi. I've already like completely like just lost the plot. Like I don't even know where to go from here, you know?
Like IRL,
like,
somebody walked up and said that?
No, like on the online front, right? Like they're calling my wife a neo-Nazi. So I'm like, bro, I'm sorry to say, like if this is how far gone the discourse is, like you guys have just regressed to an insane level. And there's just it's almost like blackpilling to kind of
that
think
is
of what
how
the
far
future
it's
could
gone,
be.
and it is there. We are at that moment. So I think that ship has sailed. Like we're already there. Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I like when I see you, you know, talk about like building bridges or like trying to build like a coalition, because it's like, even as much as these people don't want to, it's like, there's nothing you're able to do if you're constantly giving ground out to like right-wing Republicans who like, how is it good when right now the current state of things is they're talking about fucking like wiping Gaza and possibly like turning it into like a U.S. state or like, I don't know, putting Disneyland on it at this point. How is that?
They say it would have been that. They say that it would have been that bad with Kamala. That's their cope. Like they think that Kamala and Biden were maximally evil and therefore on the same plane as Trump, and it's just obvious like nonsense. But that's what they say. It's like things are already bad. It's like, really? Okay, I feel like it could get a lot worse if we continue to allow Republicans to keep winning elections.
It's like, because what happens after this election, right? Like, what happens when you get somebody even more unhinged? And that person pushes the country more to it. Because, like you said it right, like, America's a great country. It has a lot of checks and balances, but those checks and balances don't really mean shit when the current person is already ignoring those checks and balances. Who's to say it sticks, you know, 4 years down the road later, right? Like, who's to say anything changes?
Well, I mean, if we let them have big enough majorities to pass constitutional amendments, then they can just craft the system to be what they want it to be. You know, like, yeah. Anyways, it could get the idea that it couldn't get much worse than now is just so myopic. It's just so uncreative, unimaginative. If you really
it's letting yourself cede ground, because ultimately, like, these people see themselves as like revolutionaries holding AK-47s fighting against the government when they'd be the last people to fucking stick a magazine in a rifle and fucking take it to the government. You know what I mean?
I've enjoyed this conversation, guys, but I have to get some food too. I'm having good chatting with you guys. Thanks for coming on.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. What a cute little back scratching gay shit. I'm sorry.